Well, good evening, track and field fans, and it's time for another European tour. Tonight live from Miramas, just northwest of Marseille. And first up, we have the under-20 men's 60 meters. We join them very swiftly indeed, as we look to see who will take the first title of the evening. In 4, the Norwegian. In the white there, Amundsen, Van Ack in 3, Gilbert 2, Trapassé in 1. All key players to look out for as well. But in 5, perhaps Domogu, Lucas Domogu, 771 lifetime best, fastest in the field. So away they go, and who's going to be first to rise? It looks like Domogu, the Norwegian, is challenging him, Amundsen, who is running away with it now. Will he hold on? Yes! Amundsen will take the first victory of the evening. And you can see this crowd filling up here in this quite superb arena, this bowl-like arena, and of course with the indoor banks as well. It just adds to that atmosphere swirling round. But the first victor of the day then is not a Frenchman, it is the man from Norway, Johnson Amundsen, and well, it's a lifetime best for Domogu. You can see he is very, very pleased. 7:62 PB for him, knocking pretty much a full 0.1 of a second off his previous best. Van Ack, Trocaine also coming through, and well, that was round 1 of the men's 60. We'll have another heat as well. Be the theme of the evening. We'll have multiple heats in the 60-meter races, over the hurdles and just over the straight 60 as well. Well, let's have a good look at this replay. And Amundsen, he did just rise first from the offset. He was in a commanding position and he could relax. And this is, for me, the advantage of a heat versus a final. In a final, you know what's on the line. You can start to tense up, even in the powerful pole position that Amundsen found himself in. But because it was a heat, I think he knew he was away and clear, and he was always going to qualify at the end of the day. A very, very smooth performance from him. So, full results there. And you can see Domogu in second place, Van Ack, and they've all got a little Q next to their name for the time being. And we'll see whether that will be enough. And just going to study the program, and that final will be it in about an hour and a half's time, actually. So those men will be coming back then. So we'll see what happens in round 2, all importantly. As the rest of them will be out there warming up. You see those pole vaulters getting ready as well, and it is another, this is pretty much European Tour number 10 already through the season. There's a further 13 to go. Next weekend is going to be extremely busy weekend on the circuit. You think about, with I think there's 3 or 4 gold tours all in the same weekend. You've got Madrid, Karlsruhe as well. But just looking here, it's women's triple jump competition. Also in its very, very early stages, just getting going here in Miramas, which is an historic meeting all round. It's only been going, well, 8 years. I say only, but you think about when it was just starting out, then it had to battle with COVID. There was fear that it wouldn't be going ahead. So this is great to see. This is one of the para stars of our sport. You could just see the skill involved out here. And this is a little bit of history in itself, just welcoming this event to the track and field match here in Miramas. So just get a little bit of feedback from Coach with Mr. Runway. A few other jumpers out there, and it will be a busy old evening for them. La like I say, they'll be enjoying the atmosphere as it bubbles away. Often we get 1,500 to 2,000 people in this arena. It can seat that many. It really is quite special. So that was Tiffany Leggett-Lodz, who just went. Lohan Ratz and Chloe Corbin will be next to go on the runway. So Grafu and a bunch of athletes, all from around France, who are coming here and taking their opportunity. And they'll have varying disabilities. So they won't all be in the same category, but you can see they're good friends. Link up on the circuit. Plenty of times throughout the year as well. So while they just prepare what's to come, a look ahead as well for us. I mean, some of the stars we can expect to see tonight. Romel Glave, fresh off of a victory over Kashane Thompson and Jeremiah Azu last week. That was the fastest man in the world last year and the world indoor champion, Jeremiah Azu. Glave beat them both in Sweden just a week ago, and he'll go head-to-head against Kenyan star Ferdinand Omanyala. 60-meter specialist, really, isn't he, Omanyala? And in the hurdles, Simonelli, the defending European champion over the 110 hurdles, takes on a world-class field. And perhaps French hopes will lie in the 60 hurdles on the women's side. Letitia Bapte, can she make this crowd roar? Some of the mid-distance stars to look out for as well. Agatha Gilmour and Sam Chappell take on the 800 and the 1500 respectively, each in their unfavored event, actually. And the French vaulters will be looking out for Robin Ami and Berenice Petit. Well, it's a solid opening jump there. For, I believe, Lohan Rat. Just getting some guidance. Well, as I mentioned, when this arena was finished being built in 2018, they did have one vision in mind, and that was, can we fill this stadium out? Can we make it one of the stops on the World Continental Tour? And they have accomplished that. They accomplished it a few years ago, in fact, and it goes from strength to strength. And now we're lucky enough to be sitting here watching it on a feed from around the world as well, and attracting some of the bigger names. You look at, over the years, Kevin Meyer, when he lit up this stadium. Katrina Johnson-Thompson as well. Talking of the jumps, both of those accomplished long jumpers. And so, look at Lodz. Goes again. She just waits to hear that clap. Jet-Lu. The visually impaired French star, Tiffany Jet-Lu. Competing here over the long jump, can operate over the 60, over the 100 as well. And there is a theme with her, she has fantastic speed. Silver medalist last year at those World Championships. Now, they were out in New Delhi, and actually they weren't that long ago either, those Para-World Championships. Obviously, those Tokyo Worlds wrapping up in mid-September, mid to the end of September by the time they wrapped up, and that Para-Championship starting shortly after ran into October for a lot of these athletes. So the off-season has been short, and they're back out here just building into their 2026 campaign. Can you believe it? We're 2 years out from another Olympic Games in LA. What will that bring? For many from the western part of the world, over in the States and North America, you could class it as an off year. Not here in Europe, that's for sure. It is very, very much still a on year with those European Championships around the corner, and some, of course, nations will look ahead to the Commonwealth Games as well, both on British soil, Birmingham and Glasgow, respectively. Now, Heat 2. Now, I do beg your pardon, that was a straight, that's round 1 in the men's 60 meters hurdles, the under-20 race. That was just a straight qualifying round. There was no Heat 2 to come, so they will all just have another opportunity to operate over the 60 hurdles later on in the evening. Hence the small Q next to their name. So this will be a para. 60 meters para round 1, and we saw some of them warming up, didn't we? They looked fast, ferocious. They looked to be enjoying themselves out there under this beautiful stadium roof and lights. As the crowd turn their attention to centre field, where they will nestle into their blocks. So some of them are also doing the long jump. You might see these faces a lot throughout the evening because they are flicking between jumping and sprinting. Chloe Corbin in 1 is definitely one of those. Dimitri Pavard as well. Milo Bernard, Assini Torre, Emile Passon, and Maya Strasser right on the outside. So in the background, you can hear visually impaired long jumpers making their way towards that sandpit, attacking the runway. Well, that's a long stride, isn't it? Almost crossing the line to complete 60 meters in his warm-up. Decided against it, 59 will do. Save the full 60 for when that gun goes officially. Well, Dimitri Pavade is certainly an athlete to look out for. He's an Olympian. Attended the Paralympics on 2 occasions, 2020 and 2024 in Paris. That must have been very, very special. He was one of the few who was not born with a disability. Unfortunately amputated later on in life. However, bounce back, and some of these storylines are simply fascinating. The silver medalist from Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, also a medalist at the World Championships in Dubai back in 2019. So can he get back to those podiums? He's 36 years of age now. Chloe Corbin on the inside. Corbin was a winner in Paris just a couple weeks ago. 5 meters, 7 centimeters for her long jump. Getting closer to her lifetime best. 450 jumper last year as well. So we look like we're ready to go then in this Paris 60 meters. Of course, we have mixed disabilities all towing the line. So we just have to bear that in mind when we refer to winners and losers out there. They're all pretty much winners in their own right. So Chloe Corbin on the inside. Ansari goes next to her in 3. Sami Buffat. Dimitri Pavade in 4. Milo Bernard in 5. Assini Torre in 6. Emilian Passon in 7. And Maya Strasser there, right on the outside. Strasser going for that standing starter. Who's got away quick? Lonsari looks very, very smooth. But look at Buffard is going to come fast up on his shoulder, and he will take it. He'll dip at the line, and he will take that. Wow, and it was Pavade, wasn't it? Buffard, apologies, was there in the blue. Pavade, the man who was, of course, that Paralympic medalist back in 2020 and the World Championship silver medalist in 2019. You could argue those were his peak years. Hasn't been on the podium since, but starting to edge closer, and that's fine form from him. 7.64 for Pavade, and Buffard in second, and Torre there in third. Bernard just a fraction over that 8-second barrier. We'll keep an eye on Cobbie and Strasser. Both of those two. Well, there's Cobbie, 8.57 for her. And that is actually her very first 60 meters contest the long jump often. Cobbie, so good to see her here over 60. You're studying those results there. But Pavade then, well, you know he's always going to finish fast, don't you? And he did exactly that. Comes up on Buffard on the outside of him. A little slower out the blocks, but then really ramps things up, takes that momentum over that last 60. And if it was 100, you'd expect him to pull further and further away. His top speed, that's too strong for Buffard today. Well, so that's our first French victor of the evening, Dimitri Pavade. Great to see him wrap that one up. And the next track event, we will have the men's 60-meter hurdles. Actually, women's pole vault just getting underway as well. Berenice Petit is one athlete to look out for. Eliza Molinarolo will make things difficult for her, the Italian. And both of those actually competed last weekend over in Bordeaux at that All-Star pole vault meeting. And they had a great battle there, just below that 450 mark on that occasion. Molinarolo coming out on top. But a very, very even contest, so I'm intrigued to see how that women's pole vault competition plays out. Well, it's what the sport's about, is it not? Meeting stars, getting to know them, signing autographs, and inspiring a generation ahead of them as well. What will those kids go on to do? Time will tell. And I wonder if in a few years we'll be welcoming them to this very, very meeting. In the long jump, good from him, very good on the board, nice takeoff as well. One of the bigger jumps we've seen, unfortunately, just a red flag. I wonder if we can get a replay and just see quite how close that was. I think there'll be a little gutted about that foul this early on in the competition. So fresh off of 60 meters, here goes Cobbin, just running through there. Got the plant, but just didn't get the hang to go with it. But nicely warmed up from that 60. Trying to get you some live scores coming from this long jump competition as well. Live results on 2Track, but however, not quite updated yet for this long jump competition. So can't get those live distances in, we'll have to wait for those official results to come in. Track, no problem at the moment. Field just being a little slow here in Miramas. So things just bubbling away nicely I mentioned we are pretty much stopped 30 on this World Indoor Tour schedule. So many competitions ahead of us, and look at just this weekend alone, we're going to have another 5 or 6 next weekend. You've got a few Gold Tours. Interestingly as well, the big Milrose Games tomorrow night, Sunday night, shall I say, over in the States. We saw Boston, that New Balance Grand Prix last weekend. Those are the gold labels, and we'll be back in Europe with those gold labels next weekend. Madrid, Karlsruhe, Japan as well to look forward to. Big stars set to line up. None other, of course, Femke Bol, her debut. Won't that be interesting? Quote today saying she could well be done with the 400-meter hurdles altogether. Well, Pavade is enjoying himself out there. Dimitri Pavade just claimed a victory at the 60 meters. Now he's back up on the runway. Good speed. He'll build it throughout. Quick off the takeoff. Just couldn't quite control things in the air there. Just think perhaps just carrying a little too much speed into that jump. Keep an eye on a few others out there. Lohan Raft as well. Milo Bernard. Both of those in that 60. Well, there's Logette Lutz. Paris star, silver medalist. What a year she had in 2025. Silver medalist at those World Championships in New Delhi. Cobbin just getting some feedback and information as well. Well, here goes Milo Bernard. Good on a run-up, good speed. It's a much longer run-up, isn't it, than Pavade, interestingly enough, and he lands that one. Yeah, sweeping it straight, so that was a red flag, unfortunately, for him. The Frenchman, just 19 years of age. Just a couple of weeks ago, soared out at 7 meters for him, which actually is a lifetime best as well. Not only was it a season's best, but it hasn't been going long. Only just picked this up couple years ago. Last year, 6:43, already improved that coming out in 2026 to 7 meters. So don't mind that, do you? Improving 60 centimeters or just under every single year. Where will he be come that Olympic cycle 2028? A lot of these athletes down there will be thinking about 2028, their chances and the route and what they're going to have to do to qualify for those Paralympics. Well, there's your women's vaulters down there as well. Well, Zakafru. Red flag. We're seeing several, aren't we? Several red flags at this stage. Meanwhile, those women vaulters get ready. Well, I mentioned Molinarolo of Italy. Certainly want to watch their national record holder and European finalist. Obviously present at those World Championships and Olympic Games over the last few years, still building. But we'll need a clear scorecard. I think what Petit and Molinarolo do early on in this competition could dictate who wins, because they are so similar in their ability. Well, they certainly were just last weekend when I watched them both. Petit winning in Luxembourg 2 weekends ago, 4:45, her season's best. Meanwhile, Pavade on the runway. Dimitri Pavade, oh, just stumbling that one out, almost. Just looking too far ahead, wasn't he? I think he was picturing soaring himself through the air and just got caught off guard there in the run-up, just making sure he's okay. We hope he is. Shrugs it off. Always a smile on his face. One hell of a character, isn't he? Well, if anyone was going to handle that little stumble without too many problems, it was going to be Pavade. Logette Lutz just warming up down there. See the spring in her legs. So snappy. So fast on the run-up as well, the silver medalist. from the World Championship last year. Well, these are just some of the nations represented here. In fact, all of the nations represented in Miramas, and it is quite staggering, really. Look at where these athletes travel from all over the world. You think about how many nations are included at a World Championship at an Olympic level. And we've got at least half of them here tonight. Got the stars of distance running, the Ethiopians, the Kenyans, of course, and the stars of the field events. Sprints as well. Jamaica are out there. Spain, Canada, from all continents across the globe. They've come here tonight in France, in Miramas, just slightly northwest of Marseille. And we welcome this as the full opening ceremony here.
On peut applaudir bien fort les bénévoles, s'il vous plaît, et les jurys présents tout au long de la soirée pour mobiliser une sixième équipe. Patrice Ouvrier-Buffet, c'est quand même des semaines, des mois de préparation pour en arriver jusque-là. Ça va tous, effectivement, c'est des mois de préparation pour un tel événement. Cette année, on a décidé d'ouvrir à des écoles paralympiques.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. If you are just tuning in, we are live from Meeting Miramas. It's Matt Seddon on the commentary, and we are just applauding all of the nations that are going to be represented throughout the evening here in France. Spain, Ethiopia, Jamaica, Kenya, Canada out there, and of course France, Portugal, huge European nations as well. Even Japan, Ipi Takedi, looking forward to seeing him in the 60. Cyprus, flank, Romania on the far side as well. Sweden included. Ellen Olsen will just be preparing for her pole vault competition, which is moments away from getting started. And we thank some of those men down there responsible for not just this meeting, but actually getting this arena built back in 2018. And then from there, this meeting has simply just gone from strength to strength. We welcome stars from all over the world. Even in that COVID year itself, we still welcome the stellar cast. Paul Coach on that occasion, winning that 3,000 meter race. Kevin Meyer, Trina Johnson-Thompson really took this meet to new heights, and now it is an established stop on the world tour, isn't it? Some of the mascots who will be inspired for years to come and who are lucky enough to have this facility on their doorstep, some of the locals. They probably don't realize quite how lucky they are at this stage in their life. But believe me, that is one thing that France has in abundance, are these just quite simply superb indoor arenas. Compare that to the likes of the UK, who just have 4 indoor tracks in the whole country. Whereas France seem to have one at just about every other club. And this is one of the best. So there's the crowd piling in. Last year, 1,500 or so people came to watch this meeting, Miramas, and they're steadily just flowing into the arena here tonight. The capacity is far beyond 1,500. I can tell you that much. Men's vaulters also warming up down there. Robin and me, keen to see how he does. Valentin Lavillenie also in the field tonight. Both of those vaulting last weekend in Bordeaux. But Ami was extremely disappointed for a 592 vaulter. He wasn't able to get anywhere near that last weekend, bowing out at 560. That men's competition will get going. About 45 minutes, so they are warming up. They're a while away from that one. getting underway. Carl Walsh is the American to look out for. Pedro Buaro, Portugueseman. Also a high vault of 570 plus. Valentina Bellini, of course, Matteo Oliveri. More on that pole vault field to come. As we wave goodbye to these wonderful flag bearers here. 25 plus nations being represented in Miramas on this World Tour. That's why it's called the World Tour. And I should add, you should not be surprised. Next track event will be the men's 60-meter hurdles. They'll have heats. The heats will be off in around about half an hour's time. At 8 o'clock, they'll have 2 rounds, and that will see their final come right at the end, really, of this meeting, just 20 past 9 and half past 9. And there will be, everyone will get a chance to run twice tonight. There'll just be an A and a B final. Well, I mentioned this long jump competition is mixed para long jump competition. You can see the start list there on your screen. Pavade is certainly one to watch, former Paralympic medalist. Tiffany Lejedlodes as well. World Championship medalist last year at the Parachamps in New Delhi. Lohan Rat, Chloe Cobbin, looking good as well out there. So they are pretty much ready to go. We'll have their introductions. They've all been out there just warming up. They've had a 60 as well. Many of them hopped over to the infield, raced to 60 earlier on. Pavade coming out on top. Wow, good to see Payet. Onan Payet. And this is the lady I was just talking about. What a fine 2025 she had on the podium at the World Championships in New Delhi. Lejedlodes. And just to the left of her, to the right, a picture for us. This man, Lohan Rat. And Chloe Cobbin, a fairly newcomer to the sport. Let's see what she can do tonight. Zografou. Frenchman, and next to him, Emilien Passon. Looked good in warm-up, didn't he? Actually strung a few together, clean on the board. Quite a few of them were getting fouls in warm-up, I guess to be expected. Pushing the boundaries, understanding where that run-up should be. Milo Bernard, another man to look out for, having a good season. Getting 7-meter jumper and his very best. Well, can you see? You can see he wears the colors of the hometown club, AC Miramas there. But alongside him, an historic figure in this sport, really. Dimitri Pavade, he's been there, he's done it, he's picked up medals at an Olympic level and a global level as well at the World Championships. And now he really is out there just enjoying competing.
Et on va commencer directement ce tour de longueur avec l'un de nos 2 athlètes uruguayens, Ronan Vallier, qui s'est entraîné durant le tour d'échauffement. Et là aussi, on va redoubler d'attention, on va l'accompagner avec assistance absolue. Il est en train d'être positionné en piste par son entraîneur avec lui. Et il va ensuite lancer, mesdames et messieurs, le premier saut de Ronan Vallier.
Ronan Payet. First Olympic Games, by the way, in 2004. 22 years ago. Simply amazing. However, it took him to 2020 in Tokyo to get his medal in this event, in the long jump. So, Payet, good on the board, and that's nice. Well, the jumping to the sound of his coach there and his assistant. Just making sure he stayed very much in tune with the rhythm. And we'll see what this one comes in at. We await in anticipation. Well, it looked like it was 650 something, maybe just under, maybe just over. Always hard to see on this angle. 554, apologies. Just a touch under 6, so 554 for Payet, and that is going to be one of the stronger jumps we're going to see, I believe. So that could contest the victory even this early on. Let's have a look here. It does sound. It's a little bit more of a takeoff zone to work with. Well, and this lady, superior talent, is developing year on year. And I'm sure that silver medal last year at the World Championships in New Delhi would have only motivated her more to go on and get on top of the podium over the next couple of years. That next World Championships in 2027, of course, prior to the Olympic Games. Well, Leggett loads, in she comes. Well, took off early, has room to play with. However, it will count, it'll be a clean jump. There we go, and again, we'll see what this one comes in at. Maybe look like it might be 3 meters and something. We obviously had that head-on angle, difficult to see, and we'll get a better view of it now. Good speed, incredibly talented what they can do. 4 meters even, 4:10 maybe? 10, 4:15. Bit of a guessing game, I must say, from where I'm positioned. Well, 4:19 for Tiffany Leggett-Lowsden. She'll be very, very pleased with that. It's certainly a good start to her campaign, that's for sure. She's been competing since around about 2015, 2016, when she first started getting into this sport. Had success right away, didn't she? That indoor meeting in Paris. So does love the indoor circuit, and you can see why. Atmosphere always a little bit more ramped up at times as well. Here goes Rat. Good from him. Well, we'll wait to see if it was clear on the boards. It looks like they're going to get out there and measure it. See that electrical piece of equipment. And he wears, by the way, they are the colours of the Athletic Club Miramas. That white vest, their logo there. And there's one of his coaches. What an awesome facility he has on a day-to-day, weekly basis to be able to come here and train in this arena. It must be quite the honour. Come down on a Friday night and compete in front of what is the best part of 1,500 people in the stands. .578 so he's not a million miles ahead of Payet, but he will go to the top of the leaderboard at this stage, right? And Payet will have to respond. He'll want to respond. Former Olympic medalist, I mentioned, first Olympic Games back in '04 in Athens. Went to Beijing as well. But that medal coming in Tokyo in 2020. Chloe Corbin. Unlike Leggett Lowe's, this is the very much start of her career. She was competing last year, but a year of experience and lessons learned, no doubt. Oh, just running through that one then. Capable of much, much more. She'll know that. Had a bit of trouble in warm-up, didn't she? Couldn't quite match the board in warm-up either. So, hasn't been able to just correct herself as of yet. Got to admit, you look at the depth of just French track and field right now, and I mean, this power competition showing it. Well, so Grafu still waiting for Corbin's mark to come in. Ignore that graphic bottom left. Sografu is the man who just jumps. Just shrugging the shoulders as he got out there. Corbin, we knew it was a foul. Waiting for it, but this is also another man who is very much a part of this Miramas club. Well, there's young kids on the sidelines wanting an autograph as he's in competition mode. Might be just chancing it. I'm sure I'd be more than happy to speak to him post the event, but right now he's got to stay in the zone at this stage. Let's see. Good on the board. And we'll wait to see where this one goes. We know 578 leads the way for now. 582 then, well, 4 centimeters in it. Goes above Rat in second place. Pallier, so things very tight at the top of the table for these men. What can Passon do? Can he respond? We know the big player, Pavade, is going to go right at the end. We've got Passon, Bernard, Canusi, and Pavade to go next. So still 4 left to jump in this mixed para long jump competition. Well, it's good to see. He's one of the first we've seen engage with this crowd. Get them on his side. Make them work for him. Emilio Passon, one of the bigger jumpers in this field. Is he going to get it right? It looked good on the board. If so, it's going to be very, very close from that head-on angle. He's chuffed. He knows he nailed it. He knows he hit that board right on the money. And that looked big. 582, the mark to beat. Aggressive jumping in round 1 from everyone so far. 632, well, he's put himself out of sight for now. He knows he's got some big players to come. But, well, goodness me, 632 for Emilien Passon. He is absolutely delighted, and rightly so. He's fired himself into the lead here. And he's a man who's just been getting better and better and better in the last few weeks, let alone the last few years. Incredible jumping from him. Well, here is your pole vault field then. These women just about ready to go. They're due to start in a couple minutes. I'm sure we'll be introduced to them. And I mentioned Berenice Petit. She'll be the athlete which this French crowd will look towards. Can she raise the ceiling tonight? She won't have it all her own way. Molina Rolo, Scott Danza, both of Italy, both come here and mean business. So then let's meet this stellar field. Your women's pole vault here in the meeting Miramas. Well, there's Marie Renaud, consistent jumper, consistent vaulter, I should say. 4 meters 10, her lifetime best. And Moana Gerard, 420 vaulter. reliable on the domestic circuit, often clears the season's best. Very, very consistent around that. Zavala. Another one to look out for. Well, the Swede then, Olsen comes in with a season best of 4 meters. She's much, much better than that. Still developing, still working on pushing that 420, 430 boundary. Scadanzan, the Italians, he will be a problem for this lady. Berenice Petit had a good competition last week. 445 season's best, one in Luxembourg the week before that. So comes in with a lot of confidence. The silver medalist from the World University Games back in 2023. However, Molina Rollo of Italy certainly is the heavy favorite. The lifetime best of 470 indicates that, so no pressure. Still building this year though. A lot of experience at that world and Olympic level, yet to make a global final, but she does have that experience at the major championships, and she is the Italian national record holder. These are some of the officials who will be responsible for that pole vault competition, abiding by all the World Athletics rules. And we have seen some rule changes this year. Off the top of my head, of course, the 800-meter break now comes after 165 meters, give or take, depending on the curvature of these banks indoors. Can vary track to track. Instead of just breaking initially after one bend, which always caused chaos, didn't it? Absolute chaos. So they spend a little bit more time in lanes. And that World Athletic rule where they were going to introduce that long jump takeoff zone has been completely discarded now. A lot of people will be relieved and pleased to know. I know a lot of jumpers very much against the takeoff zone, and it would take away all the skill element involved. So I believe the bar starting at 383 in that women's pole vault competition, just to keep you updated. So expect quite a few of the big hitters. Berenice Petit, Molina Rollo, Scadanzan, even also maybe just a pass at that height and come in a little closer to 4 meters. Well, here he goes in, Pavade. Canusi just before him, fouled out on his first attempt. So leading the way, Emilien Passon, 6:32. And one of the reasons he was so delighted with that, because he knows that is going to put a little bit of pressure on this man, Dimitri Pavade. Great speed on the run-up. He won the 60 earlier on. Solid. Modest first jump for him. As we wait to see what this one comes in at. Is that just over 6 meters, you would say? Perhaps it might even challenge that 6:32 of Passon. Just so fast once he gets going. 760 in that 60. Came away with them. Really warmed him up, primed him for this long jump competition. His favorite event, 640, going to the lead. Perhaps he was expecting it, shrugs it off like it was nothing. So he's in a commanding position. Here's the heavy favorite, Dimitri Pavade. The world and Olympic medalist from a few years ago. His last European medal back in 2021. Well, Pallieri on the runway. He got things going. 5:54. He was the first man to get this competition underway. He'll need pure silence. And he'll follow clap of his coach towards that runway. It really is something quite special. Here goes Pallieri. The 2004 Olympian was his first appearance at the Games. And he's been to pretty much every single one since. Well, he comes out of the pit with a jump which could well challenge that 5:54, but looking a little sore, just stroking the back of his hamstring there. We hope everything's okay. Long jump, an awfully demanding event for a man who has had such a long career. I wonder what the key to his success is. What remedy is he living his life by? You can see how his coach there claps him way down the runway, just pulls to one side right at the last minute, but that's out above 6 meters, surely. Is that him out of competition? Well, that X is being held up. That would be a real shame if Valier is out the competition. Just going to get some guidance here. .577, well, it's a nice improvement for him. And look at that, ever so close to right there in fourth. 1 centimeter off him, and even third place is only .582. Zografou. We're going to have men's and women's pole vault. Either side of this 60-meter runway, right there in the dead center, you can see. And this could well be the first vault. Marie Renaud. Olsen, I've also been told, will attempt 383, so a couple to give it a go early on into this competition. Perard as well. Zelawala. But on the runway now, Marie Renaud. French athlete with 4:10 lifetime and season's best. So if she can clear 383, then really, depending on where that bar goes, will it go 393 or will it go straight up to 403 and just give these women a crack at clearing that 4-meter mark from the offset? Time will tell. World lead, by the way, currently sits at 474. Benoros. So here's Renaud, second attempt at 383, does it, goes clear. Big confidence boost for her, often gets better and better throughout the competition. The more jumps, like anyone really, the more jumps she can get under her belt, the more confidence that goes with it. And really, in order to attack her lifetime best, you think she needs about 3 or 4 just to really get the flow, work her way up to those slightly bigger poles as well. And you can see all of the awesome assistants that are going to be helping put on this meet. And she gets a little bit of information from coach there, track side. Olsen just getting over the bar as well on her second attempt. Well, cut it close. Didn't rattle the bar, but got pretty much as close as you could get without just giving the bar a little bit of a knock on the way over. Perard, Zawala. Also both over 383, so we'll continue to move through. And where will this height go next? Where will the bar go next? 398 is that, so 15 centimeter increase. And it will be Marie Renaud who will go again and lead the way. So quick turnaround for her. She'll have a couple minutes just to set herself. You can see her on the runway already. 398 would be an impressive start, although it does have that season best of 410. But we'll want to get over this fairly smoothly, fairly comfortably, and then just simply crack a lifetime best and a season's best with that 410. She knows she'll need to do that if she wants to stay in this competition and feature in the top half as well in this field of 7. Berenice Petit, Skadanzan and Molina Rolo all passing the 383 as we would expect early on. They may well come in. I mean, last weekend in Bordeaux, I think they came in just a fraction over 4 meters. So think they'll be in possibly on the next height. Might even just get one out at 398. Thing is, Renew will also acknowledge those clearances early on. They can come back and bite you. In that scorecard with a failure that goes to count back. So Renew, first attempt, 398. Oh, well, very close. Very close, and I think it'll be a matter of time before she goes clear. Often in the pole vault, it takes them just one or two to gather enough information to just adjust their speed in the run-up, takeoff. Maybe even play with the poles. Also the bars on the side, which hold that power up. Obviously, you can go back and forth a little bit, get a bit more depth on it. But you know what? They look near enough perfect. She doesn't need to adjust too much. Perhaps just improve that ability, transfer that speed a little bit more through the plant. That is going to take her to a slightly higher height. But didn't veer to the right or left, was pretty much central. And had she got her hips over the bar at that moment, she would have gone clear. So, fraction of a centimetre in it for Renew there. Luana Perard. Young French vaulter, very, very confident in the mid-range bars, I know. And it's often just which bar you spend most time training at, really. But that first time clearance, 383, will certainly count. Put the pressure on Renault and others around her. 398, can she go clear? Wow, look at that. Very, very comfortable for Perard early on. And when he sees the best of 415, ignore the meet record, definitely. It is, of course, an event that we haven't seen much of at this meeting, Miramas. So although that is, you know, a meet record, last time we saw it in 2019 was when the meet was just getting off the ground. 2018, the first meeting. So you know, that meet record will be, I'm sure, surpassed time and time again. But some nice clearances from her. But Raj, you can't take that away from her just yet. You never know what's going to happen in sport. And that's men's 60-meter hurdle sheets edging ever closer. They're off at on the hour, so just a few minutes away from those. Oh, Marie Zalawa. Oh, just skimming it there. 398. And again, I don't think she'll be changing much. She'll talk to coach and just a little bit more aggression through the pole on her way up. But actually, you look at the depth, it was near enough spot on. Could maybe give herself a little bit more time. And you can see the wave lights on the track already marked out. Another thing that's changed quite drastically over the years. Just clicking up with her thighs. So her highest point, way, way above the bar there. So we've seen 3 French women so far. Now we have Ellen Olsen to go. The Swede. Competitive in Sweden. Getting ever closer to a national podium. Perhaps even one day a national gold. However, 427, her lifetime best, so she will need to lift her game over the next couple of years. If she has LA 2028 on her mind, and even the World Indoor Championships just around the corner. 20th of March, they get underway for those of you watching. That window obviously open now. Lots of athletes chasing those standards. More on that later on. But here goes Olsen, the Swede. Took her 2 attempts at 383 and is going to take her a minimum of 2 at 398. And the Scandinavian. Just check in with our coaching team. So the only person to go clear in this women's pole vault so far is Perard, and well, Marie Renaud is the next athlete to give this 398 height her best efforts. And well, with a few failing on that first attempt, this is a way you could put on the pressure, and also a way she can earn back her stripes on countback, because that first time failure at 383 early on in the competition may come back to bite her a little later on in this competition, because you could have, there is a scenario where all four women go clear at 398 for me. It is well within them. However, I think you could have the next height could prove difficult. Where that goes to, time will tell. Another 15 centimeters will be 413. And then we'll see the big players enter the competition as well. Some of Europe's best vaulters. Marie Renaud. Second attempt, 398, was pretty much spot on with her angles in that first attempt, and that was a little worse for me. She's a lot closer to going clear, wasn't she, on that first attempt? And she'll know, look, that meet record, she could equal it. We'll talk about this pole vault, women's pole vault at least. First time we've had it back here since 2019, believe it or not. So Marie Renaud just fouling out there, hitting it with her shins this time as opposed to last time. She was right on the hips, just had to get them over it, couldn't quite. Well, those hurdles being adjusted in the background there, over a meter high for those men. Men's 60-meter hurdles is the next track event that we are awaiting. Marie, Zalawa, Dimitri Pavadei as well on the runway. It's all going on in this fantastic arena at Miramas, which is northwest of Marseille, up on the coast still. Well, 640, he finds himself in second place. Wow, well, Pavadei once again putting on a show. Won the 60 hit, and I think he's very much on his way to winning this long jump competition already. Bear in mind, it is just the second jump of the competition, but this is going to come at just shy of 7 meters. Let's see. Second attempt, responding to the competition around him. .656 for him there, still a little shy of Bernard's emphatic second round jump, 685. He's the man who leads. Pavadei will be hawking him, hunting him down until he can find himself back on top. So in the men's 60-meter hurdles, there will be 2 heats, and I believe everybody will get a run out in the final. We'll have an A and a B final. It will just depend where you place in the heats, obviously, what final you go into. So unfortunately, we're not going to have a start from just in Marseille. But Owen Sinner is a man to look out for. The Frenchman, 761 his lifetime best. French under-23 champion a couple years ago, and European under-23 medalist is Sinner. Well, Lorenzo Simonelli, the Italian, 743 silver at those World Indoor Championships. He's a European champion outdoors. Just starting to get his 26th campaign off and away. Semi-finalist from Tokyo. So Franco, Lacca, Simonelli, and Sinner in this one. Well, all eyes on 5, really. What can Simonelli do? He is under pressure by the South African Franco there, who is going to run away with it. 7:69. And what on earth? Well, we have more questions than answers, really, don't we? We really do. Well, Simonelli, that is a big, big upset. And, well, there he is, Leroux. Lifetime best is 7:67. Sinner gets second in the end. Laka in third. And I tell you what, that is a huge run from the South African there. Came into this. I mean, Franco Leroux, also known as Franco the Redhead. I mean, South African hurdler, lifetime best is 7:81. He's capable of impacting any field. And boy, oh boy, did he make a statement today. Oh, Simonelli's second hurdle. It has cost him. Little messy throughout. I think he felt pressure from the gun. But to see him that far down in a field of that caliber, you'd expect him to run away with it. So huge lifetime best for Franco Leroux. Sinner, Laka, Simonelli. And we'll see what happens in the other heat. So it'll go by time to see who makes that A and B final, and hence why they've all got a little Q next to their name. So welcome everybody. If you are just joining us at a meeting Miramas here on the World Athletics Continental Tour, this is a third attempt as we turn our attention to the women's pole vault. Zalava to go, 398 to stay in it. Sits in third at the moment, won't be for long. Goes clear, and that's more like it. Sails over. 398, and that is a vault that equals the meet record. We haven't had the pole vault at this meeting for some years now, and I think we're going to see more and more meet records. You can look there on your scoreboard. Skadanzan, Molina Rolo, and French star Berenice Petit haven't entered the competition just yet. They will on the next height. The way they've been performing this season, I expect them to come in at low 4 meters, 410, 413, wherever the bar goes to next. But that was big. That was very, very big for Zalawa. Coach says, let's go. He knows there could be something special in the lockup for the French woman. Lifetime best of 420. And she cleared that today. Look at that, wow. Shake of the head from Olsen. Unfortunately, we just missed that jump. I'll try and bring you the result of it, though. Also goes clear. So shake of the head. I think it was a relief. Shake of the head more than anything. A vault to say, well, I expect myself to be able to clear that. I expect myself to do it. So we'll have a look at that replay from Coach. One of the advantages these vaulters have, constantly getting feedback. Do the images, are they in line with that internal feeling she would have had on the runway? Ellen Olsen. Well, that's how you do it. It's pole vault 101, isn't it? Just over. So a few more. I can see that mixed para long jump still going on in the background. Here's Marie Renou to go next in this women's pole vault. And the bar now at 4 meters in 13 centimeters. All of these women, Pirard, Zalava, Renou, and Olsen all went clear. Third time of asking. Pirard, first time of asking at 398, the others third time. So to give you a bit of context, this would be a lifetime best for Renou. But if you're going to go clear, it's going to be at a meeting like this. Look at the crowd. Usually in the realms of 1,500 people. This meeting has been record numbers over the last few years. We'll continue to file in. So, Marie Renou. Speed on the run-up is going to be crucial. Well, almost has it. I really like how tidy she is up in the air, though. That aerial awareness from Renaud just shining through. Yes, could just aid that transition a little bit more aggressive through that lower part of the takeoff. But that gymnastic ability, so difficult to know where you are in the air, when you have to arch. Don't forget, they twist their body on the way up as well. Oh yeah, heat 2 of the men's 60-meter hurdles. In fact, we have 3 heats. Moulas in 2. Migdat in 3. Campbell in 4. Menendez in 5. Nago. Greff right on the outside. Greff 772. Another French athlete, but goodness me, I mean, the way LaRue came out there, the South African, that almost irrelevant what your lifetime best is coming into this one. So Kenji Menendez, the Cuban, is definitely the firm favorite, but so is Simonelli. And look what happened to him. Menendez, the emerging Cuban hurdler, really. And he's shown good form this season already. Plenty of competitions in that 7.5 range. And still, you could say, building that profile internationally. But current form shows he's in a good place. Look out for the Jamaican Campbell in 4. False start, and just seeing who's the culprit, who could have been responsible for that one. You look at Moulas Oliver. And 2, well, he certainly got the furthest along at 60, didn't he? Interesting, just raising those hurdles up a little bit. So, oh, it was Greff right on the outside. I was looking further down the line myself. I was looking dead center, 5 and 4. That's where the battle might come from. Menendez and Campbell, and of course, Matteo Nago. He's there in the all-green strip. Ronan Greff, what is going to be the outcome of this? Sometimes I have seen it on this tour. The officials have been lenient. Athletes have run under protest as well. And that's a shame. That is a big, big shame from Greff. And I wonder now if he is still going to get the opportunity to line up in those A and B finals a little later on. Because all of these men, regardless of outcome, will get a second race here tonight. Ronan Greff exits the competition, and he has shown some pretty solid form of late. 772 a couple weekends ago. So from 6 to 5, Moulas Oliver, Migdat Sevler, the Franz Campbell, the Jamaican, and those bright orange spikes in the center. Kenji Menendez, the emerging Cuban, and Matteo Nago in 6 on the outside in the green. Well, so often first to rise can end up running away with it in just a short event like a 60. And look at Campbell, he will just get it on the line. And he was first to rise, he was first to the first barrier as well. And I think LaFrance Campbell, the Jamaican, will take that despite the incredible current form of Menendez. And Matteo Nago will have to wait and see if that's going to be enough for that A final. But Campbell's through. Menendez in 2nd, Sevler there with the season's best in 3rd, and it's going to be tight, and I think Nago is going to miss out. Looked like Oliver just flashing up ahead of him, the Italian, but it was a good start from the Frenchman Nago. Messy from Menendez, you can see just clipping those first 2 flights and then settled into his rhythm. He was under pressure from the offset, really, wasn't he? From the start of Campbell. And you could tell it was just forcing him to tense up. So the Cuban will have to be a little more relaxed in that next round. And have the stars. Remember, J-Ron Robles, Cuban star, over the 110 hurdles. What an era that was. Hu Zhang as well. No one, for a period, could touch Robles. But LaFrance comes down on top and edging closer to a season best. So those men will welcome, certainly welcome, another run out this evening. And they'll get that in about an hour's time. And here's the men's pole vault competition. You can see some of the stars. Carl Walsh, the American, an athlete to look out for. And they will be introduced. Well, Doucet, you certainly want to watch. Frenchman, he's going to have to be right at his best to live with this field, if anything. Well, there's Bravo. Competed at European Team Championships last year. 562. Best in 2025. You see his season best there, 535. Ivan Seric also competed at those European Team Champs. Croatian. Well, Carl Walsh is certainly a man who could feature. You look at his past record at US Championships, second, third, back in 18 and 19. Hasn't quite been there for a few years. Can he get back to his best? The Spaniard, Cole. Another man to look out for. Well, Valentin Levellini. Great competition just last week. And has one heck of a CV, doesn't he, really? Multiple world finalists, competed in 2013, 17. His highest position, 6th in 2019. Oliveri, the Italian. World under 20 finalist back in 2021 in Nairobi, in Kenya, coming out of COVID. There's plenty of Italian national titles under his belt. Petro Briaro had a fine competition last week. He looked good, despite not clearing huge heights. He did look good. He looked very tidy, getting back to his best of 582. A national record holder for them, indoor and out. And well, we all know who this man is. Robin Ami, 592, his very best. Former European junior medalist and under 23 medalist, still building nicely. He was 11th at those European Championships 2 years ago. Can he get amongst the top 8 in Birmingham later on this summer? And I'm sure he will be targeting the World Indoors as well. Can he start the season with a bit of a bang? However, was disappointing last weekend in Bordeaux. Robin Ami wasn't able to clear 560. So one more 60 ahead of us. And look at that. Jeremy Laradouce is one man certainly to watch. We haven't got the Brit, unfortunately. We were supposedly going to have Tadej Ajura of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. 753 is lifetime best. Multiple British champion, but he's not here. Leggett Loads. France's silver medalist last year at the Para World Championships. It's a nice jump on the board. Look at that for consistency. 419, 414, and 407. Round 4. Has she improved? Well, I'm sure we will get a result. We weren't going to get it just then. We'll turn our attention back to this men's 60-meter hurdles. Heat 3. Third and final heat, I should add. Andre Bernard goes right on the inside. And on the outside there, you're looking at Ambrice of Portugal. Such a deep field, such a big field, in fact. The Indian, Shersey, has a good lifetime best of 764. That'd be enough to get him into that A final for now. Mizungu of France as well. Breakout performance from the fruit. Laurana Doucet makes life easy for us. Wears the yellow vest in 5. Well, the Mauritian standout. Will he get off to a good start? He does. Clips that first hurdle along with many others. Actually, he's under pressure from Nzungu, who takes it on the line. What a Frenchman. What a run from him, and that's an upset, if I say so myself. You look at their lifetime best coming into this one. And Nzungu, I noted him down as a consistent French hurdler in the 760s, and he's just that again today, isn't he? I mean, constantly delivering 768. He just knows that rhythm so well. Rafael Mohamed, his countryman, just congratulating him. And Breeze as well. Portugueseman, eyes on those outside lanes, was so fixated on the battle in the center. Nzungu coming through in 3. Oh, the win then. I tell you what, right around his lifetime best. 765 his PB. He's going to be eyeing that in the final. He's going to be in good company, and he's going to get a very, very good lane draw, which is all important. And of course. But he was able, I think in 2 there, he was just able to stay relaxed at all times. You could see where some of the others were just getting a little messy, a little scrappy. Did just clip that last one. Felt the pressure coming from Lara Doucet. But Nzungu takes it. Some of those men, unfortunately, just a little way off their best. So, oh, well, Perad. 4:13. Is that a 3rd-time failure? That's unfortunate if she's out of the competition. Had a fantastic open. Couple opening heights, didn't she? Went clear, was making it look very, very easy. You would have had her down to go out at 4:13. Not liking the shift in poles, maybe. Very disappointed. Well, for an event which is so clear-cut like the pole vault, sure as hell, their result system taking a little while to flag. That was a 3rd round failure for Rad there. Well, Ellen Olsen, the Swede, now is her time to make a bit of an impact on this competition. 4 meters in 13. It would be a season's best for her. 3rd and final attempt. At all her competitions so far, she has just been building. This would be a big step up on that 4 meter season's best. What can she do? Well, had the height, didn't she? It was just a little slow for me on the way up, and that cost her. But that being said, she almost managed to just negotiate and just arch her body over that height. And you could see the big hitters. Skadanzan over, Petit over, Molina Rolo over. Made a real good effort at that, despite the slow approach, and that transition almost did enough. So not to be for Ellen Olsen today.
Avec la région sud, le temps pour le jury de mettre en place l'ensemble des haies. Vous voyez, il y a 5 séries de haies.
Bar now at 4 meters and 28 in this women's pole vault competition. We're going up in 15 centimeter increments at this stage. Marie Douala is next to vault. What a clearance she had at 4 meters in 13. It's an equal meet record. We're going to see a meet record every time someone clears a new height. It was previously 394. Isabelle Leroy back in 2019. However, since then we haven't really had a world-class field. We do on this occasion, so that's why we're going to see a few more meet records out there. Well, considering Zalawa struggled at 398, took her 3 attempts to go clear then. First time clearance of 413 was quite something, equals her season's best as well. So having a day, Zalawa. Well, crowd over on the far side, that's the home straightaway. And that's where they seem to be, strength in numbers. Run on the back straight. Right on top of that para long jump competition. Let's see Saint-Marie. Zalawa just waiting. That minute countdown has not started yet, so just an interval in between jumps. There you are, you can see the minute countdown. And that will go to 2, the less people in the competition, then 3, then 4, until one final person is left. They'll have 4 minutes, and any additional minutes should they be going for a national record, even meet records actually. However, we are not there yet. Let's focus on the here and now. 4 meters in 28. Not to beat. Well, perhaps the confidence wasn't there. The belief could be questioned. 4 meters in 20 is a lifetime best. And that's a shame to waste that first attempt in that manner, to not even be able to plant the pole, to not even be able to feel what you could maybe work on in that second attempt. It really has just lost it. Then she'll have 2 more goes, of course. Next to go will be Lisa Molina Rolo, Berenice Petit, and Skardanzan. Virginia Skardanzan on the runway now behind us. Prepping herself. Is that her on the far side as we look and we welcome the start list of the men's under 20 60-meter hurdles final. And look, they all ran earlier. They all had a good hit out. On that occasion, it was the Norwegian Amundsen Johnson who was the victor. 7:56. Don't forget they run over a slightly different height, a slightly lower height, I should say, than the senior men. But Amundsen Johnson will have his favoured lane, lane 4, which he had in the heats. And there he is, in that t-shirt there, the favourite. You could ask, this is exactly the same lineup we saw in that heat right when we came on air. Don Gilbert, Tom Todabese, Owen Vanak. Oh, there is Gilbert. Todabese, Vanak is another one to look out for. 781, he could challenge if he gets things right. But Amundsen Johnson, 781, hasn't updated, ran a lifetime best in qualifying. 756, beat this man, Demugu. 762. Well, Killian Chokane did hang in there, but would be disappointed because they did get away from him just in the closing stages of that heat. And so he's going to need more in the final. He's going to need a tidier race as well. So does Demegu. Nino Hane on the outside. So Gilbert, Trabese, Vanak, Amundsen Johnson, Demegu, Chokane, and Hanier on the outside. Under 20 men's 60-meter hurdle final. Same 7. Go again. Well, it was Amundsen Johnson who took the heat. Will he do it again? He's under a lot more pressure from Demegu on his outside, but the Norwegian takes it. Oh, a nasty tumble. A nasty, nasty tumble there for Demegu. However, quick up, bounces up, doesn't he, to congratulate the Norwegian Amundsen Johnson, who just looked so in control. For about hurdle 3, the race was his, really. had a little more range, didn't he? Through his stride, 754 to 762, and Demegu, despite tumbling at the end, will equal what was a lifetime best for him. And Amundsen Johnson right around his best mark. It was 756 in the heat, so he's bettered down. Oh, the left leg lead, he's comfortable, and this is a man you could say who's ready to step up to that senior height, isn't he? He knows what's coming, he's planning ahead. Come the summer, they're gonna have to operate over the 110 hurdles and a meter high plus. And it is a slightly different ball game. And hurdling is one of those events where you can see big changes in those who are successful at a junior level to a senior level purely because of that height increase that they then have to cope with. But all of these men will be factoring in that transition, I am sure. So no doubt about the victory in the end. Norwegian conquering here. Lucas Demegu there in second place. Running 762 on both occasions, in the heat and the final, despite the little tumble. How about that? Well, on the runway there's Logette Loads. Lots going on here in this arena. We've got pole vault either side. Men's and women's pole vault competitions are underway. Logette Loads is in the 5th round of the long jump. Dimitri Pavadei and Bernard were having one hell of a battle up front as well, weren't they? 682 leads. Does it still? It's been a while since we checked in with the long jump. But this lady, awfully consistent. Look at that scorecard, 4:11 in 4. What can she get in 5? Close, it looks like from that angle. Look, we're head on. It's very difficult to see, isn't it? However, that could be slightly further than that 4:19 right at the start of the competition. Silver medalist from the Para World Championships last year in New Delhi. Hasn't had much of an off-season at all. I mean, they were in October. She simply had just some of those dark winter months in November, December, and now she's out in January competing again. So credit to her ability to just go all year round. We'll probably have more of an off-season after the indoor campaign than the outdoor campaign. May well have just carried her form all the way through. Well, that's a shame. We could well just witness Virginia Skardanzan bow out the competition. Let's see if there is a replay we can get hold of and view. But my scorecard is saying Skardanzan is out, the Italian. 3 failures at 4:28. In the same breath, one athlete's disappointment is another athlete's joy, because Marie Zalawa will be absolutely delighted. 4 meters in 28 centimeters. She's gone clear. 3rd and final attempt at 4:28, and that'll be a lifetime best for her. So going from strength to strength. She's leaving it late on that 3rd attempt, but 3:98 took her 3 attempts, and then to go clear with 3 attempts at 4:28 is something very, very special. So the bar now is at 4 meters in 38 centimeters. Berenice Petit is next on the runway. Caesar's best of 4:45. Was the victor in Luxembourg 2 weeks ago. Silver medalist at those World University Games back in 2023. Tied on that occasion, actually. Very, very strong in the major finals. Under pressure, and hey, look, count back. helps with that, doesn't it? Can you just negotiate those early heights with little problems? She's done that here today. Could argue a little wobble at 4:28. But a regular athlete, done a few diamond leagues in her time, and obviously always there on the national scene here in France. So this would apply a little bit of pressure to the Italian Molina Rollo. She's the only Italian left. That's good from Petit. That'll do it. Very, very encouraging. And you know what? She's going to look at this and say a PB could be on the card tonight. 4:54, her lifetime best. And hey, she is vaulting very, very well. She's got a few under her already this season. Just looking at the clearance. She got there over the bar. Slightly different hole. Slightly different pole, sorry. Skim a little bit. She can tidy that up, Campetin. She'll know that. It's probably the feedback she was just giving to her coach there. We'll know just to trust herself a little more in that runway. Get that plant spot on. Well, here we are then. Molina Rollo would have just witnessed that. She's going to have to respond. Perfect scorecard. We'll need a perfect scorecard at 4:38, making it look easy. Well, how tidy was that? Pole vaulting 101 from Molina Rollo. So the two athletes we expected to feature are featuring, and Molina Rollo on paper has a good 20 centimeters in the bank on Berenice Petit. 4:70, her lifetime best, the Italian national record holder, European finalist. And she'll be looking ahead to that World Indoors. Can she go there and qualify? Only 12 athletes globally will get the call up to the World Indoors. It is extremely tough to go there and compete. Well, back to the track, then back to the 60s. It's been sprints, and more sprints, and a couple of hurdles in there as well. Just witnessed the men's, under 20 men's 60-meter hurdles final, and now we will have the mixed power 60-meter final. Well, Strasser goes in one, then Maya Strasser. Also been over on the long jump runway. And again, in her heat. I call it a heat. It was a heat in many ways, but everyone qualifying for the final. Everyone entitled for a second run out here. And it's good to see early season. You can see why the meet directors do it. Just give athletes a little more of a chance to open up their campaign. Emilienne Passon looks very, very good over in that long jump competition. Speed is certainly there on the runway. Alcini Tilray. Now the man who goes in free, and well, Dimitri Pavadei, we'll get to see him in this final. Ran very well. Took the win in the heats. Milo Bernard. And again, Sari choosing not to contest this final, but Chloe Cobbin run on the outside will. The second of two females in this race. And we'll go together. Oh, Pavadei ran a blistering 7:64 in the heat. Buffat, Bernard and Torre were very close, just under 8 seconds flat. So who's going to come out on top against them? Buffat, Bernard, Torre. All the ones to watch, dead center. Look at Sami Buffat start. He's away, and he now is clear as he continues to extend that lead over the line. Oh, Torre and Bernard next to him. And look, he ran Pavadei so close in the heats, and when we saw he wasn't going to line up, you could almost put the title around his neck, couldn't you? He's chuffed with that. And that was a very, very accomplished performance. 7.65. Torre dipping under 8. And Bernard equaling his time from the heats. 8.01. So 2 very, very consistent 60-meter dashes from Bernard. But Buffat, no doubt about it, he would have enjoyed that. He was quick out, had no one to his left, no one to his right. He could focus on his own rhythm. Max effort. Well, and now he can reap the plaudits, can't he? And his youngsters around him all want to hear his story, his journey. How did you get so far, Sammy Buffat? That's what they'll be asking him. Well, it looks like that bar has come down for Molina Rolo. Let's have a look. Bar at 448. So he won't be too very, very close. Just look how central, just look how at ease he is. Arching herself, that aerial awareness to get over that bar there. But Molina Rolo won't be too concerned because Berenice Petit has also failed at 448. Both of them first-time failures. And the final 2 left in that women's pole vault competition. Head-to-head matchup between the pair. The Italian. Really hitting a peak at the moment, you could argue. Set that lifetime best of 470 in Paris at the Olympic Games. Where else? Berenice Petit. Oh, not like it, not like it. Just. Did she save it? Was that enough? Was that enough to go back there and have another attempt? Or did she make contact with that plant box? Well, back on the runway then, just resetting Berenice Petit. I think she will have better time. This will be a season's best for both of them. Well, they've been so evenly matched just this year in 2026, Petit and Molina Rolo. You look at them just last week in Bordeaux, both of them clearing 438, not being able to go up to 448. So they followed a very, very similar approach, just an almost identical scorecard here today. They've come in at pretty much the same height as well. So this would be new grounds for the pair in 2026. A big old run up for Berenice Petit. This is much better. Gets the plant, skids a little bit at the bottom there. You can see just lost a bit of momentum at the bottom as she just drops the pole to find its way in. But look at that scorecard, by the way. Salawa, some huge lifetime best there in 3rd. Well, we know who the crowd are going to be vouching for, don't we? They will want that woman to go clear. Well, here we are then. From the pole vault to the 60, we have the men's round 1. 60 meters, and again, just like the hurdles, we'll have 3 60 meters, 4 60-meter races actually, just to sink our teeth into a couple finals. Well, Molina Rolo goes clear. Well, that will put the pressure on the Frenchwoman Petit. That is a big clearance for her. It's a season's best. It edges closer to her lifetime best. It's a big record, and it puts her in pole position in that women's pole vault. And that is going to be some ask now, isn't it, for Petit to challenge her and go clear of 448. By God, will that crowd will her on, though. Well, the men's 60 meters round one are ready and waiting. Dimitri Pavadei just finishing up his long jump competition. We were a little gutted not to see him line up in that final, weren't we? Well, for me, the man, this is an absolutely stellar cast for Heat 1. And I'm sure they'll all be in that A final later on. But Topisi goes in 2, which is on the inside lane. Ozair in 3. Omenyala. Ferdinand Omenyala, the fast-starting, powerful Kenyan. Always there in the global finals over the 60. But Romel Glave, stand out for me. Beat Kashane Thompson and Jeremiah Azu just last week over the 60. The European bronze medalist from 2024 in the 100. Lawrence Johnson in 6. Diagne in 7. Well, Omenyala just gets away, but I tell you what, Ozair, the Turk, right on the inside and coming fast. Lawrence Johnson, the American. Wow. He was there last week where Romel Glave took it to Kashane Thompson and Jeremiah Azu, but neither Omenyala or Glave could respond today. It's just the heat. Hold your breath, but that was a very, very good performance from Johnson. And they're so evenly matched, these men. I mean, all of them low 650s. It's a much of a muchness hit. Who gets it right on the day? But 663. So actually, a little sluggish from both Omenyala and Glave tonight on this occasion. Lawrence Johnson actually just right around where he should be, where he was last week. But Glave running in the mid 650s to win last week against the world indoor champion Jeremiah Azu. Ferdinand Omenyala there in 3rd. You can see Topisi Ozair, who had a great start, by the way, the Turk, didn't he? And Diagne winding up in 6th. Well, the next heat will feature Al Balushi, the man from Oman, 650. He ran very, very recently, won that Paris indoor meeting just last week, 652 on that occasion. So he is a man just coming to form at the right time. Think about that World Indoor Championships around the corner. What are we, 8 weeks away now? So Oliveri goes clear, 541, no questions asked. Fairly routine for him. He's not the only man to go clear at this height, I can confirm. Bravo, Briaro, Lavillenie, Cole and Walsh all go clear, and all on the first attempt as well. So those men looking very good. And actually, it's good to see it. Pedro Briaro, Lavillenie, it's good to see them enter the competition at 541, not waste any energy, because they did struggle to go clear of 560 last weekend when you'd expect them to, but it is early season. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt, still warming up into the year. Boy, was it a long summer. Well, there you can see Oliveri. Oof, things are looking good. Robin Amid in. French hopes for this man tonight. Nope. Well, again, looked a little out of sorts earlier on this year, and clearly just not quite finding his best form. This is a man who is a former European Under-23 and European Junior champion. 592, his lifetime best. But right now, doesn't seem to be enjoying himself. And sometimes as an athlete, you know how you're training, don't you? You know what you're capable of, and you almost just have to live in hope at the competition that things might start to click. All you're looking for is a few signs, a little bit of momentum. What to say? 5:41. Third attempt to hang in there, to live with these men. A couple have gone out already, but to say, oh, it's a shame. It's a shame not to give it a real go on that third and final attempt, but that'll be him. That's his competition over. And now it's all eyes on Robin Ami. He's got one more attempt, the Frenchman. And otherwise, we've gone from 3 Frenchmen just to 1. Le Villani left if Ami can't go clear. So round 2 of this men's 60 meters. I mentioned Albalushi. There he is in 5, the man from Oman. Sekiguchi, watch out for the Japanese. They love to race. I mean, the amount of competitions he's got under his belt already. 669, that was pre the 2026 season, actually. You see there, he's wearing the Waseda University colors. And it's a huge university in Japan for track and field, really one of the best, one of the most accomplished universities. And I think the World Championships did wonders. Not only that, the Olympic Games, but so unfortunately for that Japanese audience, the Olympic Games was, of course, behind closed doors, no one allowed in the stadium. But what that World Championship last year has done for Japan, I think it's very similar to what the Olympics did for France and French athletics overall. I mean, it has just gone from strength to strength, hasn't it? And anyone in that stadium wearing those Japanese colors was just welcomed with such a roar. And it's also motivated and inspired the next generation. And we know when the Japanese turn their attention to certain disciplines, they can be some of the very best in the world. Vukushevich in 1, Preem in 2, Albalushi 5, Antoine in 6, and Sekiguchi, the Japanese man, running the outside in 7. Well, all eyes on the man in red there now, but Albalushi, he is impressed time after time this indoor campaign. And he looks across and made that one look easy. And I tell you what though, Antoine was there. 664 matches that pretty much of Lawrence Johnson in the previous heat, in what was a very, very strong heat as well. Yeah, European medalist in that one. But I tell you what, this man, it could be a new standout star in 2026. The way he is moving, if he gets it right, come those World Indoor Championships, and it's anyone's game, isn't it? Over 60. You think about Jeremiah Zhu winning last year. It's anyone's title to go claim. It's really who can come into the competition in the best form. 461 then for Molina Olo, just failing on that first attempt. However, 2 more. We'll gather information, edging close to a lifetime best. That'll give her huge confidence. If she can clear 461 in January, a lifetime best of 470 set in 2024, she will be stunned. Well, he's got to go clear to stay in the competition. It's been a tough week for him, and it just gets tougher. Robin Ami bows out of this one. Well, thanks to the crowd, but look, that is very disappointing. No height, and nobody ever likes to go out of a competition without even getting a mark on the board, and Ami has done that today. Oh, and he just has a height, but it's just not clicking for him, is it? Oh, they pack those poles away. 592 Volta. Struggling out here at 541, and again, it was a similar story last week for him in Bordeaux at that all-star competition. When it's not clicking, it's just not clicking. Well, there's Bernard. This is the man who leads the way in this long jump. Look at that, 692 in the third. What's he got in this 6th and final round? It's going to be measured up. We'll be made aware of it very, very shortly, and he's beaten Dimitri Pavadei here today. And he's doubled back in a couple of 60s as well in the heat and the final on both occasions. 8.01 for a 60. Gives you a little bit of an idea and some context to just how quick you have to be over the 60 to contest the long jump to the level that Bernard does here. So it's his 6th round in that mixed para long jump. We've got Molina Rolo in a women's pole vault still going strong at 461. The men's bar, I could tell you, which is closest to us, by the way, on the images, is up at 541. Well, I mean, he's gone out at that, so I believe it will jump to 556 next, and it continues to go up in those 15 centimeter increments, which I believe it will until there's just 1 or 2 left, and they can start to dictate where that bar goes next. So, Juan Luis Bravo is next to vault in the men's field. Canusi, though, his last time out, sitting in second, 677. As he challenged for the victory, it looks a little short of 7 meters. We know 692 lead from Bernard. And after a rough start, well, he's pulled it out the back, hasn't he? Look at that for a scorecard. 77 and 75. Well, the Italian national record holder, Molina Rolo, she's been there, World Championships, Olympic Games. She'll be looking to get to the pointy end of the European Championships this summer in Birmingham. 461. Can she start the year with a bang? She gets closer. She'll be the lucky athlete to attain that meet record status. It's a little bit of extra prize money for her as well. Not that she'll be thinking about it now, but I'm sure on the way home she'll be pretty happy with her efforts once that check comes through. Bonus prize money for meet records tonight, as well as the victory. So often the case on the tour circuit. Pavade! Oh, okay, not to be for him. Well, he gave it a good go, didn't he? And he stretched out to that 668 in the 5th, and you thought, well, is something special about to happen? Well, that 3rd heat of the men's 60 about to go. Take a look at the start list. Takeda, by the way. Takeda, I mean, he has 7 races under his belt in 2026 already. I mean, it is just staggering numbers how much this man can race. So there they all are lined up. Takeda, Rimbert in 2. I mean, McPherson is always going to be one to watch as well, the Jamaican. .653, 2nd in Poland. Just a week ago, McPherson, he goes in 5. He's there in the red. Nascimento, the Portuguese man, in 6. And Oscan on the outside in 7. So look out for Damon McPherson. He was great last week. But look at the Japanese, Ibi Takeda. Is he going to take it? No, McPherson comes through. Well, what a start Takeda had. But he just couldn't hang on. Couldn't hold that top speed. And once McPherson got going, he was away. And he'll go get ready for that final. He knows what to wait. He knows he's got the likes of Glaive, Johnson, who won that Heat 1 as well. What was a stacked Heat 1, I must say. Not quite sure how they've seeded them. I think they've seeded them off season's best results as opposed to lifetime best, which always makes things interesting early on in 2026. Well, Gressie William is the man just to the left of McPherson. He tried to close in on Takeda. Don't think he got there. Ran out of real estate. So for those of you watching, we have one more heat to go in this men's 60. We'll have 2 finals, an A and a B final. So We will await to see who will line up in those. Third and final attempt for the Italian national record holder, Molina Rolo. She's won the competition. That's hers. The meet record hers. Is a season's best going to be hers, and not on this occasion? So bows out. But a good week for her. That's an impressive scorecard, 448. She'll build in confidence, and importantly, for Molina Rolo, it was better than last week. And I think every time you're improving, you've got to be pretty happy. And here's her compatriot, Scardanzan there. Unfortunately, went out early on in this competition and has watched her teammate for the last hour or so. So that concludes the women's pole vault. Molina Rolo with the win. Petit just got close to 448, but unfortunately bowing out at 438. And Zalawa, what a vault that was. Huge lifetime best, 4 meters and 28. Great to see the Frenchwoman get up there in third. Virginia Scardanzan. Just saw her 4 meters and 13 centimeters. And a few others will be very disappointed not being able to go clear 4 meters to 9 here in Miramas. For the men's triple jump is out there, and they'll be warming up. That will be one of the next field events to get underway once that women's pole vault clears off. But this is Valentine Lavillenie. He needs no introduction. I really enjoyed watching him last weekend. And he'll still think, I'm sure he does, about that European indoor silver back in 2021. Just one time he got on the podium there. But athletes, actually, they probably tend to remember their bad performances more than their good, don't they? 5:56 for Lavillenie, first attempt. Oh, well, he's close. And I feel like, well, last week in Bordeaux, it was 5:60, which was a challenging height, and I feel 5:56 could offer the same challenges for a lot of these men. This early on in the season, it's something you'd expect. There's Dimitri Pavade getting a nice interview down there trackside. What's Lavillenie got to say? He looks very frustrated. Let's hear from Pavade. Well, he's a French legend, isn't he, Pavade? What he's done over those last few major championships over the years. And there is a summary of the result of that mixed para long jump. Myla Bernard came out on top. Rayed Kanusi there in second, and Dimitri Pavade, who we just heard from, 6:68 on that occasion. And Passon there in fourth. So great jumping from all. Well, here we are, and we have another Japanese athlete that come over in force, and they'll be enjoying the European circuit. Spoke about the impact that the World Championships would have had on Japanese track and field. So this is the fourth and final 60 meters. And for me, I look at Emmanuel Assimi of Cameroon. At 6:52 lifetime best, and he's already run 6:55 this year. He's second in Paris as these men take to their marks. And he's in four there in the red. To his left, Shusei Tada of Japan, and Fernandez on his outside in five is also going to be a bit of a problem. However, Osime did beat him, Fernandez, in Paris last week, the Cuban star. Was their getaway? We can't rule out, but so the South African as well. But I tell you what, there's Fernandez edging clear. Will he hold on? Oh, and Osime just comes through. 6.64, and every single heat has delivered the same clocking by 1/100th of a second, give or take. And so this final is going to be extremely tight on this men's 60. And I can tell you when it will be, folks. That men's 60 final coming up right at the end of the night. 10:40, that will get underway. Look at that one then. Osime just holds on, doesn't he? Comes through, puts the pressure on Fernandez, who was just beginning to work a little harder. Almost up and over that barrier there. It's frightening. Well, 6.63 officially. And again, so similar. So there's Fernandez, Tata, and I will keep you posted on the seeding for that final. Come by in about 2 hours' time. Well, there's Valentin Lavillenie just clapping this man. Cole Walsh, 5.56. Oh, makes it look easy. And this is the Walsh that we saw back in 2018 and 2019. And this man was making podiums in those US finals, going to those major championships as well. So competitive at the US. And many a times it's an equivalent feel to that of a Diamond League or even a world qualifying round. But that's a smooth vault from Walsh, it really is. He's been in the game a long time. Attended that World Junior Championships in Oregon, believe it or not, on the home soil in 2014. A member of that team. And then since developed, the next 4 years were a huge success in that collegiate system. 3rd and 2nd, the 18 and 19 US Championships. Well, from coal to coal, the Spaniard. Oh! Okay, well, just like Valentin Lavillenie will have one more final attempt. Well, welcome if you're just joining us. We've got another hour and a half on air here today in Miramas. I'm your commentator, Matt Seddon, and we are a good chunk into this meeting. We are currently watching this men's pole vault competition. There's one of the French stars. What a famous name he has in these parts, Lavillenie. Wow, synonymous with French track and field, really, isn't it? Amongst the legends. But this is the brother of Renaud Lavillenie, and this is Valentin. Got his 2026 season off to a good start. He's a European indoor medalist back in 2021. He's made plenty of global finals. Can he make another? Only 12 go to Poland for the World Indoor Championship. Will that be beyond it? You expect you're going to have to jump a bare minimum of 580 this indoor campaign if you're going to be in Poland. 5.56, second attempt. I do apologize. Might have said it's his last. Here he goes. Oh, well, just a little short, wasn't he? A little short. Gave himself too much to do. Now he'll move to his 3rd and final attempt. Well, it's tough to watch, and it wasn't very convincing. I know he struggled at 5.60 last weekend, just like this man did, Pedro Barraro, but he looked awfully tired, he did, Barraro. Valentin Levellini catching this one, just hooking his feet onto it and then crashing down on the bar. I've got to admit though, the aerial awareness these men and women have when they vault in order to just control the direction where their body is going to go. They obviously rotate on the way up. It is quite staggering. There's just so many aspects to the pole vault you have to train. I think when Mondo took on Warholm in that 100-meter race, it really showcased the speed that you also need, the explosive power that you need for this discipline. All of those factors can impact each and every vault. So you're looking at a Portuguese national record holder, Biaro. Again, struggled at 560 last week. It's 556 beyond him. Well, it is on that occasion. Just looking a little flat, just looking for answers out there, isn't he, at this stage? And often the case early season. Often the case. You could be training well, but, you know, again, I do reiterate, these guys haven't had much time since the back end of last year when they're in Tokyo. With a short off season, they've had to get ready, haven't had heaps of time to really focus on their indoor campaign. So perhaps just training through it more than anything. Well, women's 60-meter hurdles is next on the track. There we are again. We'll have a couple of heats of this one. This is heat one, of course. Alessandrini. Well, Letitia Bapta, not in this heat, but will hold a lot of French hopes on coming away with a victory. Not that you can win in a heat. Well, Alicia Johnson, the American, what a talent. 7th at those Paris Olympic Games. Runner-up on the US trials in 2024. She goes in lane 4. 7:82, her lifetime best. Alessandrini on her inside in 3. Will have a lot of work to do. But on paper, it's by far and away the closest to Johnson. What will we see from the American? So look, dead center, Alicia Johnson. How smooth is she going to be over these first couple flights? Look at Alessandrini taking it to her early on in this 60 hurdles. Johnson takes it at the end. Doesn't even dip. Knew she had that flat speed to take her through that last 20 meters there. So she's all smiles in the heats. Just needed to get a race under her belt. 7:97 coming up unofficially there. Of course, it will be a season's best. It was 8:02 in Paris last weekend. And I think the psychology is always interesting to me, going into that final later, to come away, to beat Alessandrini, to know you had a little bit more in the tank. Psychologically, you know that as long as you get a good start, you can stay relaxed and you can let your body do its thing. You'll be very excited for what's to come in that final. And she'll back herself to walk home with the title here in Miramas. If not now, when Valentin Levellini has to go clear. He's going to give this crowd something to shout about. Robin Ami is out. Will we see another Frenchman bow out? We will, unfortunately, on this occasion. And so it is over to the other internationals. A few more Europeans and an American remain. Walsh, Bravo, Oliveri, and Cole. And that is a real shame there from Valentin Levellini. He's frustrated, and it just hasn't been clicking for him early in 2026. And it's a height he knows he can do, obviously. And I think the problem comes when you have such a poor first attempt like he did, and then going into that second, it just puts pressure on that third attempt. Well, we'll have another heat, of course, so that women's 60-meter hurdles. Alicia Johnson, the victor. Sacha Alessandrini in second, 7:99. Equaled her lifetime best, by the way. And Vilma Maki of Finland was in third, 8.24. Worth keeping an eye on that to see what final she moves into. It will be an A&B final later on. We have got some mid-distance action. We've got an 800, a 1500 and a 3000. Annika Gilmo to come in that women's 800, her unfavored event, but so often starts her indoor campaign with an 800 to sharpen her tools up a little bit. Pedro Biaro then, well, I mentioned he remained in the competition. Will he remain for much longer? Portugal's national record holder, 5:56. Oh, it's a poor attempt. And interestingly enough, you could almost tell his body language after that second attempt looked flat, looked a little bit perplexed. And today, it just wasn't to be. So another one bows out. Cole also looks about out, the Spaniard. Bravo went clear on the first attempt, so did Oliveri, and so did Walsh on his second attempt. Jean Articol, the Spaniard, bows out. So the bar will now move to 5:66, I have been told. It will lift 10 centimeters, and this will see a lot of men in season's best territory. Heat 2 of this women's 60-meter hurdles, and there she is then, Letitia Baptiste. French star, lifetime best 7:66, did have the world lead at 7:92 for a couple days early on in 2026 before it was eclipsed just a week ago. She won in that Paris indoor meet with that 7:92, the multiple French 60-meter hurdler champion. She can call herself an Olympian as well. Semi-finalist at the European indoors last year. Would have wanted more from herself at the Europeans in 2025. And now this is a bid to start that world indoor campaign. Letitia Baptiste there in the purple, dead center. De Lazaro on her inside. Baptiste with a good start. She's just tall, she's flowing, and now the stride comes into its own, really. Edges clear of De Lazaro there, and look at the time, 8:04, so nothing to write home about. But was very high stepping out the blocks. I know that's her stride, I know that's her style, if you like, but it almost just looked a little too relaxed. Almost like she needed that race to really wake up. She's going to need to be faster to that first hurdle if she's going to compete with Alicia Johnson in the final, and she knows that. She knows the corrections that she'll need to make. De Lazaro there in seconds. Official result coming through at 8.13 for her. So that heat proving a little slower than the previous. You know, you could say it was just rhythmic from Baptiste. You could almost feel she wanted to just feel her stride out, feel fluent. There wasn't much aggression, and one would argue you don't want too much either through those opening heights. So a very relaxed 8:04 for Baptiste on that occasion. Beating the rest of the field quite comfortably. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is finals from here on out. After that women's 60-meter hurdles heat there, just concluding. The next final we'll have on the track will be the men's 60 hurdles, the B final, then the A final, and then we'll have a little showing of mid-distance events. Well, here's Cole Walsh, the American first attempt, 5:66. Oh, well, he's close. And you know what? For me, out of everyone, he has looked the strongest by far in this men's pole vault competition. Despite it taking him 2 attempts to clear 5:56. He's looked very confident down there and just accomplished. And I think sometimes you lean into where he's been before and the experience that he can rely on. A two-time American national medalist back in 2018 to 2019. You're looking at that and you're thinking he's got it. I think he's got that next height. Where it comes on the second or the third attempt, I think he's going to go clear at 66. And as far as this men's pole vault competition's going, I think that could well win it tonight. The meet record, by the way, was coincidentally Robin and me back in 2024, 575 for the meet record. Today, no height, unfortunately for the Frenchman. So a small little pause in the program as we wait for this men's 60-meter hurdles B final to get underway. They're down there preparing themselves. It should be on very shortly. We're actually running behind schedule, if anything, here in Miramas. Well, Oliveri, the Italian, has been very impressive. I mentioned Cole Walsh being one to watch. This man, the way he went clear at 5:56 was extremely impressive and began to raise a few eyebrows down there track side, but failure for him. On 5:66 on that first attempt. Well, there's Molina Rolo just down there track side as well. Women's pole vault champion here tonight in Miramas. Just working alongside the same coach as Oliveri. Well, as he gets his feedback, we'll watch the replay. And he's clipping it there with his shins on the way up, and you just think, does he need a little bit more depth? He's giving himself a little bit more time just to get up to that height. Just goes behind back a bit. Well, here is your B final, and you're probably like me, looking and going, what? Simonelli in the B final? Really? Yes. Just wasn't there in the heats, was he? The silver medalist from the World Indoor Championships in 2024, behind the world record holder Grant Holloway on that occasion in Glasgow. And Simonelli just wasn't at the races in that heat. But he has got a second run out, and look, can he make amends for it? Can he go and run something extraordinary in this final and at least come away with the victory? That will be the bare minimum he'll be looking for. The Frenchman Raphael Mohamed goes on the inside of him. He was fourth at those European Championships in Rome back in 2024 as well. The same year, Simonelli, quite frankly, had one hell of a campaign, the European champion outdoors as well as the silver medalist indoors. Well, there's Badgie. Goes in one, he'll have the French crowd behind him. Oh, here's the Indian starting. Tejaz Chase. 7:64, and look, if he can produce that tonight, he could well feature at least in the top three. Oliver Moulas. Again, he's just going to need a clear run. He's got some big names to his outside. Raphael Mohamed. You'll know those two would have raced each other many of times on the circuit. If not back here last year as well. 7:67. Lifetime best this year. Well, here is Simonelli. Looked a little out of sorts, as I said. The European champion from 2024 over the 110 hurdles. And just to give you an idea of the speed that he also possesses, he was a member of that 4x1 gold medal winning team in Rome at the European Championships in that same year as well. That's the flat speed Simonelli has. Couldn't find it in Heat 1 though. Sebler. Then you've got Matteo Ngo here in the green. Same lane he had in the heats. He likes it out there. Cicino Abriz goes in 8th in, the Portuguese 110-meter hurdle star. And he does find himself working back towards his peak, in fact, in that lane. So, we go. Simonelli, Mohamed, Oliver, Scherzi, Baji from the outside in. I wonder if that'll be an advantage for Simonelli not to have anyone on his right, to focus on what is directly ahead of him. Major medals under his belt. Well, away they go, and we keep an eye. It's Mulas Oliver who's looking good in 3 at the moment. Can Simonelli get a grip in his race? He might just do that at the wire. Oh, I tell you what, Mulas Oliver looked delighted with himself. He might have just beaten the European champion. The defending European champion from 2024. Has he been beaten? It's going to come down to a photo finish, surely. Simonelli then, season's best, 770. So close. And Mulas, 772, but it's a lifetime best for him. And that is a result which I hope springboards his career. And he'll look ahead to that national championships where he'll come up against Simonelli once again. You imagine, and can he put the pressure on there? So Simonelli working his way into this indoor season, just like he worked his way into this race tonight, really. Doing just enough. But may I remind you, that was the B final. What is to come in the A final? Franco Leroux, the South African, was ever so impressive in his heat. The Franz Campbell, and they can also want to watch in that A final. Coming next, as we bring you those results, 770 then, season's best for him. And he knows once he can start getting into 7.6s, possibly even a 7.5 Simonelli, that's enough until he gets to major championships, as long as he can turn it on when he gets to the major championships. Peak at the right time. It's something that he's getting better and better at. Hey, look, you don't win European titles if you can't peak at the right time. What a year he had in 2024. Well, this is the men's triple jump competition next. Field event as that men's pole vault comes to a little bit of a close as well. Bretignac, Frenchman, 1677, former French champion actually, a few years ago now. Faye, Senegalese man, West African regional medalist, international record level performer as well. Kingley, the Austrian, just consistent as Kingley, 1685, 1616 season's best for him, as you can see there. Turkey, Zipek. He's a regular on that Turkish national team. Grecu as well. All of these men, you can see their lifetime best, by the way, very similar in the high 16s. But how about this man in Almir dos Santos, the Brazilian? More on him to come. But I'll just tell you this, he's a world indoor silver medalist in Birmingham in 2018. But the Algerian, Yassir Mohamed Triki, he is their national record holder. He was 5th at the Olympic Games in 2021 and 4th last year at the World Championships. We have two very big time performers when, as far as triple jump is concerned here tonight in Miramas. A meeting known for its field event stars, I must say, over the years. Cole Wolfson's second attempt, 5.66 to just stay in it, to get a grip of this competition, and he does it. And now he puts himself in the absolute driving seat. I think 5.66 might just win this competition. I'm not sure how many men will go clear. You look at the pressure it's put on Bravo, Oliveri as well. Smooth from Walsh, and he had a very good first attempt. I know he didn't clear it, but you could just tell the way he was approaching, his run-up speed, the way he was attacking things. I would have bet your house he'd go clear at some point at 5.66, and he has done so on the second attempt. Well, then here is this men's A final tonight. Franco Leroux, what a story. What a heat. Staggering what he produced in that. 7.67, his new lifetime best. Can he improve on it again? Really? We're about to find out. Elmo Lacker, a very, very experienced international, Finnish international on the circuit. In fact, we welcomed him to Miramas for the last 2 or 3 years even. Laraduse, another man to look out for on his day. I thought he was challenged a little bit more in the heats. He had a good battle with Nzungo, Menendez as well, the Cuban. Well, this field is absolutely stacked. The France, Campbell, look at all their lifetime bests. They are in with a couple hundredths of a second of one another. We could well see a dead heat. The France, Campbell, the tall, towering Jamaican. Well, Franco Leroux, what a storyline for this South African. Took a few scalps and we weren't expecting much of him, but boy, oh boy, has he wintered well. It is, of course, the South African summer. Jeremy Nzungu, he too was mightily impressive in those heats. And Menendez, for me, on paper, this was the favorite coming in. Of course, apart from Simonelli, who had to settle for that B final. But Menendez, the Cuban, is emerging talent, so consistent in the 7.5s. That's what it's going to take to win here. Sinner, another extremely consistent man, lifetime of season's best this year. He is in form, even though it's January. And right on the outside, then another South African, Mondre Bernard. So can Barnard live with the center of this field? Franco Leroux, you've got the France, Campbell, Jeremy Nzungu, and of course, Kendry Menendez. He's still building his international profile, is Menendez. These men will know it's competitions like this you have to win. You're going to line up at the World Indoor Championships. If you're going to make that final, you've got to come here and you've got to dispatch your fields like this one. Who's it going to be? Lacker, Laraduse, Campbell, Franco Leroux, Nzungo, Menendez, Sinner, or Barnard? Well, watch out, the South African in 4. He looks so impressive in the heats, and Franco Leroux is running away with this one once again. Is it going to be his on the far side? Sinner came back, but I think Leroux had it. I think he did enough through the middle part of that race to just edge clear. And watch the clock, ladies and gentlemen, because both of them could be rewarded with a lifetime best. It was that quick. 7.60 for Leroux. It's another lifetime best for him. 7.61 for Erwan Sinner here. And he too equals his lifetime best, which he set already this season. Well, Leroux has taken some scalps, hasn't he? Just staggering. And we are looking at a new talent starting to emerge in the men's 60-meter hurdles, and what beckons for him this summer over the 110. And the reason why that one meant so much for Franco Leroux, that's a World Indoor qualifying standard as well. So he has that automatic qualification, and importantly, he has that win. Well, the France Campbell, the Tortara Jamaican, he'll be having a look at the screen to see a rerun of his race. But look at LaRue, it was the start really. Sinner closes so well. His flat speed off that final hurdle. He's better than most, but LaRue just did the job through that midsection. That's the aim of the game. So it wasn't just a fluke, it wasn't a one-off for the South African star. He beat Simonelli in the heats. He beat the European champion, and well, here he is, winning tonight in Miramas. Let's hear from him. Let's hear from Sinner, in fact. Well, there you are. The crowd can hear from Owen Sinner, second place for him in that one, but couldn't quite get on terms with Franco LaRue. Franco, the redhead, they call him in South Africa. What a star emerging we have there. Next event on the track, ladies and gentlemen, will be the men's 3,000 meters. Well, it's an interesting one, this 3,000, because we have a few domestic athletes, you could say. Ben Fodder of France, Ben Hamou as well, Mezien Ben Hamou, Fischel and Jacquin, all around the 8:20 mark. And then we have two Kenyans in here, and this is almost their coming out race. We haven't seen much of them, we don't know much about them, but they're over here and they are on the World Tour circuit. So what will they be able to do? The youngsters, just a few lifetime bests to their names. We know they've run inside, or some credible domestic times, I should say, in and around 150 for 800 meters, but stepping up tonight over the 3,000. Shadrach Kipkoech as well, another man to look out for. Now at the bottom of the list there. But Bohr, Jigtone Bohr, he's a 152 performer over the 800. Well, I'll try and get confirmation on the Shadrach Kipkoech that we have with us tonight, but I can tell you one thing. There was a Shadrach Kipkoech on Kenya's national team at the World Cross Country Championship, placed 27th on that occasion. I believe this could be him here tonight, the 61-minute half marathon runner. And anyone who makes that Kenya national team is a fierce distance running out star, really. And I have a feeling Bohr might be here to just play pace to this man. So men's 3,000. Pardon me, I think there is multiple Shadrach Kipkoeches, and the one we see with us today, I believe, is based in France. We've seen him run a few meets in the indoor season already. 357 or 150. So that would indicate something around 820 as well. So this is a largely domestic field, despite the two Kenyan athletes in here. Men's triple jump, you can see just capturing the crowd's attention right before this men's 3,000. . Well, there is the Algerian just missing out on those medals at the World Championships last year. But he is emerging as certainly one to watch. Give him a couple of years, where will he be in 2028? Tricky. Well, I guess his 2026 campaign underway. What's his first attempt going to come in at? 16.10, a rather modest 16.10, I should say that. Dos Santos leads, 16.21. What an interesting World Championships it was last year. World Indoor Champs for Dos Santos. Disqualified for not complying with the shoe rules. It's picked up by one of his competitors at the World Indoor Championships, but originally thought he had claimed a medal. Anyway, all of that behind him, I'm sure, in 2025. He left that there. In 2026, he'll be looking to go again at those World Indoor Championships. Retinoir, 14.68, finds himself in third. The rest of the field fouling out. He'll be surprised by that, the young Frenchman. And the colours of AS Monaco. Well, here we are then, the first and middle distance action tonight. We have the men's 3000. World lead sits at 7:27.57 from Cam Myers. I don't expect them to be breaking that here today, but we are going to get a race on our hands. We had a few French youngsters, emerging talents, I should say. Ben Fodder, Ben Humu, Fichau, and Gillian Jacquin of France as well. And then, of course, we have the two Kenyans, Gaton Bohr and Shadrach Kipkoech. And the two Kenyans. Bohr, you can see wearing the light purple vest. And Kipkoech there. Two young Kenyans. A couple indoor meets last week. I think 150, 152 for 800. Well, just been a little bit hasty, aren't they? Just getting told to get back. Well, away they go to this men's 3000, and look at the speed these men have just shot off at, way ahead of those wave lights. Unfortunately, I haven't got intel on what these wave lights are being set at tonight. I can tell you the lifetime best of some of them. There we are, actually, bottom left of the screen. 8:10, here will be the green wave light, white wave light coming at 8:20, and all of them way, way ahead of that. Shadrach Kipkoech looking very relaxed and comfortable early on. He leads them through 30 point for that first 200. I expect things to just settle down a little bit. And I imagine Ben Hamu and Ben Fodder will just want to get back onto the coattails of these Kenyans and just find a bit difficult choices for them, really. Do they run their own race, or do they try and hang on to these boys? Similar in class, I must say. First few indoor meetings for these two athletes just last week. 357 over 1500. The day prior, 152 and 150, respectively, over 800. So that was a 34. So things have settled right down. They'll keep an eye. Those lights just to the left of them. We know those white lights will be sitting right at 8:10. And we haven't actually got a personal best for Bohr over the 3,000 meters. And of course, Shadrach Kipkoech over the 3,000. So this is a relatively new distance for the pair. Cole Walsh to go clear. Oh! Well, he'll have another crack, Cole Walsh, and Look, he'll be enjoying his time on this European circuit. He knows he's got to get back for those American Championships. They're coming up in just a few weeks, but you know, he figures probably the travel, although he's got to get to Europe, the travel's probably a little easier here on the circuit for him. Just popping around France, the amount of meetings here. So first attempt at 576, not to be for Cole Walsh, but he has this competition sewn up at this stage. So get back to that men's 3,000. We're going to keep an eye on what this first K is. The light's getting away from him, can't quite tell at this stage, but it's still Kipkoech leading to board just behind him. They are on the lights, which means they're bang on about 8:10. Look at that, 2:42.93. Couldn't get closer to 8:10 if they tried, really. That will see them, if they keep this going, that will see them at 8:09. So an electric opening 100 meters or so, and then things settle. The first 230, things settling down and just running to the rhythm of those lights. Which there are debates starting to emerge. Are people for or against the lights? And just look at the ease in which these athletes can pace themselves thanks to the lights. It is a skill, pacing. And should that skill be taken out of the event, out of the art of distance running? Well, a debate for another day, in fact. Grecu of Romania, that one will be a white flag, actually. See what it comes in at. Well, waiting patiently for that to feed into the system. The Romanian second attempt, 14.85. So a very, very modest attempt for him. Way shy of that 16.83 lifetime best. Romania's national champion. Contested the European team champs, but didn't want to get himself into the European championships in Birmingham and actually contest those. So difficult with the triple jump. You can produce your best time and time again, then you can actually make quite a lot of fires and do quite a lot of damage. Dos Santos leads in 16:21. I told you about that bizarre series of events playing out at last year's World Indoor Championships. Disqualified in the end, but thought he picked up a medal to start with. Stripped of it for not complying with shoe rules. But second attempt, he looks good on the board. This looks clean. Oh, will that get him? Similar? Similar? Oh, it's a foul. Very, very difficult to see where an athlete sits on that board from this head-on position, of course. But 16:21, and it's still a fairly decent opening jump for him. He has got a 16:74 season's best. 17:53 lifetime best. That's what this man can produce when he's fully firing. But it must be said, yeah, he is one of the most explosive jumpers in the whole discipline, really, globally, when he is healthy and when he is fully firing. A world-class threat. But he is one hell of a character. Posing at the Paris Olympic Games. Remember that one? So many stories. Well, here is Tricky then. Yassir Mohammed Tricky, the Algerian, their national record holder, 17:43 is best. Fourth at those World Championships. But he is, of course, the world indoor champion and has multiple African titles to his name. He will not want to lose to Dos Santos. Well, if it's a clean jump, that might well get a little closer. It looks like this could be very, very close to 16:40, which would obviously take him into the lead with Dos Santos at 16:21. Looks like that men's 3,000 is broken up. Is that Ball? Looks like Ball in second. Kipkoech might be ahead of him. And the two Frenchmen just falling off a little bit. Well, how bizarre. We're looking to see if we can see Shadrach Kipkoech, but he looks to have pulled off. So we've missed something. Kipkoech has pulled out. Bohr is now pushing on. Cole Walsh with the pole vault. Oh, almost going clear. One more attempt at 576. It would be huge if he does. And you know what? It would surpass that meet record of Robin Amey to rub salt into his wounds. No heighting here. And he could see his meet record go if Walsh goes clear. So here he is then, Bohr. Lap to run for him. He's going to be just outside 8 minutes. How close to that barrier will he be? Those lights were set at 8:10. He's a long way ahead of them. And it begs the question, was Shadrach Kipkoech here to pace this young man, Jack Turnbull? Both of them 20 years of age. Couple races under their belt last week, 800 and 1500. But Bohr has just looked a class apart here tonight, hasn't he? And he will take the victory on French soil. 8:05. So closes out that last 200 as quick as he opened. 30 point for the opening 200 tonight and 30 point for the final 200. And credit to these men, they might have just snuck. Ben Amu and Ben Fodder might have just snuck a lifetime best, 8:21 and 8:26 respectively. $8.17 per Messi and Ben Amu. And Ben Fodder, lifetime best, there you are, 8:18.22. Knocks 3 seconds off it. Well, judging by the smile on Shadrach Kipkoech, he was indeed pacing. And this is great to see for these young men. These under 20s to get this level of exposure. Look at the kids, they all want a piece of them, don't they? They all want an autograph. What have they just witnessed? Perhaps the future. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the men's 3000. Unfortunately, just 3 of them finishing in the end. But the next event on the track, French style. Guillemot will go in this women's 800 meters. Guillemot. As you saw them coming out in that women's 800, striding away in their unfavored discipline. 4-lap event indoors, 2-lap outdoors, of course, the half a mile. Fresh off of a medal at the World Cross Country Championships. Meanwhile, on the runway in this men's triple jump, here is Kingley of Austria. 3rd attempt. Starts engaging his crowd, knows how much of a help they can be. And there has been a little bit of change in this men's triple jump. Number 5 of Senegal leads now 16.65, surpassing the world indoor champion Tricky in second with 16.47. Kingley, what can he do? Can he start it to match these jumps? Oh, wasn't to be on that middle phase, was it? Just body shutting down a little bit for Kingley. So we won't even bother to wait to see what that one comes in at. Well, here's the lineup many of you would have been waiting for out there. It is a big field, so that new rule of the stagger unwinding after 2 bends instead of 1 will be welcomed, especially from Agatha Guillemot. However, she's a 1500 star. She's used to the pushing and shoving, and this is the matchup that we are looking for. Guillemot likes to open up her season over the half-mile distance. She did last year. Clara Lieberman, another athlete to watch out for. 1:58 outdoors is Lieberman. Silver medal at those 2025 European Indoor Championships last year over the 800, and their national champion semi-finalist in Tokyo. But how difficult is it to make a global final over the 800? Lieberman will know that all too well. There's plenty of others to watch out for. Chaput of Canada. Well, we'll get a good look at this field now. I thought they were going to be taking call to their marks then, but actually we'll get a good field. So, Garash on the outside. Almici goes on the inside of her, the Italian. 205 lifetime best. We'll just want a good start, and we'll want to get on the back of this field the best she can, I think. Well, there's the Canadian Chaput. I mean, her lifetime best outdoors, 158.90. Here's her indoor PBs on screen. Sometimes the outdoor lifetime best does a better job at showcasing their class, their quality. Dumas, another one to look out for. 201, regular French national finalist, indoors and out. 202, and that's just last weekend. Well, there she is then, Lieberman. Your silver medalist at the European Indoor Championships last year. A huge talent. Well, she's already got a world medal in 2026. That came in Tallahassee at the World Cross Country Championships in that mixed relay. Guillemot, she looked great on that occasion. Now, does that transfer to the half a mile distance? You certainly think it does. Look at that confidence from Guillemot, the French national record holder, over the 1,500 meters. Well, Marta Mityans did qualify for Tokyo, didn't make it out the heats, but was there last year. How she progressed in those winter months. Cherry Jury there of Japan. Doesn't have too many accolades to her name, but this is a huge opportunity for her to line up in a World Tour event, and Emma Chalet on the inside. So Lieberman brings the quickest lifetime best. Guillemot, the better strength out of the two. Who will come out on top? Ooh, well, not sure why we've had that. I'm sure there's a reason. I was focused on Guillemot and Lieberman, dead center. There was no movement from them. Jury's looking a little nervous. Straight back to the start for her. I'm sure whatever happens, it was innocent from all out there. And for a lot of these women, this will be the first time they will go off of this new stagger. A lot of them opening their season here in 2026. There we are, no false start. New start will play out, green card will be shown, and these women will breathe a sigh of relief, or perhaps that nervous tension will just build as they line up once again. So where they go in this women's 800, we have the European indoor champion over 1,500 meters from 2025 in Guillemot. We have the European indoor 800 meters silver medalist in Clara Lieberman from 2025 as well. So who is going to come out on top? Lieberman perhaps has a little bit more pride to lose here. She won't want to be beat by a 1,500 meter star in Guillemot, although, and I'm sure they are friends. The national record holder in Guillemot gets in behind the pacer. Look, the wave light's too flat through 800. Guillemot likes to open up her campaigns with the half a mile distance. Get those legs ticking over. Look, it worked last year for her, and she'll be wanting it to work again in 2026 as she eyes up that World Indoor Championships. So Guillemot leads. Lieberman there in second, right on the shoulder. She will bide her time. Is she strong enough this time of year to respond to the 1,500 meter star? Look out for the Canadian. And coming up on the shoulder of Lieberman, 58.70. So it's quick, but they're on the lights. The lights now, the technology involved will be programmed to positive split this 800 because they know that is the most effective way to run. Not much, but just a small positive split. Guillemot will just try and hang on to them. Lieberman there looks to be just struggling for me. Doesn't look to quite have the same cadence that Guillemot has up front, but she has got something Guillemot hasn't, and that is the speed over the 2-lap event, the 1:58 lifetime best outdoors. And look at this then, a new French star perhaps announcing herself at the bell. Charlotte Dumas coming through on the shoulder of the national record holder and the European indoor champion. Guillemot looks up to the scoreboard. She can't respond. Dumas will get the inside round the bend. Charlotte Dumas, ladies and gentlemen. 2:02 last week in Nantes to take the win there. And can she take the win in Miramas? Guillemot's going to respond. World strength prevail. It's going to be tight on the line. Dumas takes it in a meet record. 2 flat 27. And welcome to the world level, Dumas. That was special. She knows exactly who she's beaten. For so long, she would have come in behind these two. She would have got used to seeing the back of their head. But tonight, it was her heels they played witness to. And Charlotte Dumas is your victor here in Miramas. Guillemot in second, Lieberman in third. And Trapu there, getting very close to her indoor lifetime best. The Canadian there in fourth, but what a run. Meet record, was aggressive at the right time, made the right moves, closed hard as well. Huge victory for her, life-changing. Really, it could shape the course of her, not just her indoor season, but her whole 2026 campaign. All right, then this will be after the drama of the women's 800. We're just recovering. Cole Walsh to go for a third and final time in the men's pole vault at 5.76 meters. Of course, he will go on if he can go clear. And this is a meet record. Coincidentally, will we see another one? Oh, yes, we will. Well, that's 2 meet records back to back in a matter of seconds, not minutes, but seconds. And Cole Walsh goes clear, 5.76, the American. Former American medalist back in 2018 and 2019, went to those World Championships, has struggled since. I mean, that is an awfully competitive team to make, but he is doing all the right things to get back on that American team come the World Indoor Championships. And that will be his aim. And he's going about it in the right way. Where will he take that bar next? 580? 586? Time will tell. Well, there's your results. And this might scare a few because Guillemot opened her season a lot slower than this last year over 800. But she's PB'd indoors, although she's got second here today. And huge credit to Charlotte Dumas winning at the top of the leaderboard there. I think those who are going to be doing the 1500 at the World Indoor Championships will be a little alarmed from that opening 800 from Guillemot there, showing she's got the pace to go with that cross-country endurance that she showed a month ago, a few weeks ago, should I say, in Tallahassee. Well, there are the two, looking like we're ready to hear from them trackside. Wouldn't that be great? We'll head down to the interviewer live. Well, there you have it, hearing from Dumas there, and of course, Guillemot. The next race on the track will be the men's 1500, so sticking with the mid-distance action. The world lead, 3:34.32 from Moberg. Norwegian team phenom. You could argue, can Sam Chappell challenge that? The Dutchman, the Dutch national record, or it's hard to believe that he is, given the talent the Netherlands have over the 1500. The likes of Laros, I don't think we'll see this indoor campaign, despite his emphatic one last year. Mujahid there. Morocco. Well, look out for this Frenchman. Shoot out 3:38, his lifetime best. And with a solid lifetime best at a European level, he'll look to start to translate that and hopefully into national championships and potentially even European championships. Okay. It's an ETF. Certainly want to watch this man. 3:36 just last year. Silver medalist at the World Under-20 Championships. Well, there is the Dutch national record holder, Chappell. Well, Ignacio Fontes has some serious closing speed. He's just got to be there when it counts, and that's often the challenging part for him. So let's see what he can do. And now there you are, Kibiwak Koech. Fast closing Kenyan. Very, very strong training block, right on the inside, and he set Kazan. So your men's 1500, it's good to see a relatively small field. I think the less bodies, the better in these 1500s. They just want to get on the rail from a perspective of running fast. It might not offer the most exciting race at times. But today will certainly be about qualifying marks for someone like Chappell. He'll just want to get a race under his belt. The tall Dutchman just struggling for a position there. He won't like where he is. He doesn't need to panic. Think about some of the positions he's worked out of over the half-a-mile distance. You don't become a European indoor champion over 800 if you can't work yourself out of a few tricky spots every now and again, negotiating those rounds. So there's Koech right in behind the pacer, and everything going to plan at this stage. Just smooth, rhythmic running. You expect them to be bang on the money. They've got the lights for assistance. Men's 1500, 300 meters in to this race. 6 laps to run, 28.9. So Chappell holds the Dutch records over 800, 1,000, and 1,500. Huge range. And enjoyed, but it's fair to say, his 2025 campaign indoors. Kentef, though, can cause a little bit of an upset. I think anyone who is a former World Junior medalist over the middle distance is a serious talent. Well, Cole Walsh just enjoying himself at the top of the pole there, I think, just making sure he didn't have a crash landing. Staying safe out there on his attempts. He has, of course, won that competition. It's his. Now just how high can he go? Well, we'll get back to this men's 1500 then. The next split we'll have will be the 800 split. Koech looks so relaxed for me, the Kenyan. Collins Kibiwak Koech. Don't have a huge amount of data on him, but one thing's for sure. He's been identified and offered a lane in Europe. He is surely going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I expect we're going to see more of him through this indoor season. The rest of the field struggling to live with this pace, actually. Kazar, Ignacio Fontes, I mentioned, he's just on the rear of this field, just hanging in there, and he's got a great close, but he needs to be there when this race gets going, and at the moment, he just isn't, quite simply. So Sam Chappell also recognizing a little bit of danger. He's starting to just move up. He sits in 4th, the tall, towering Dutchman, their national record holder over the 800, the 1,000, and the 1,500, and things just starting to close up. Pacer pulls off. Koech starting to slow up, giving the others a bit of an opportunity now to get involved in this one. And this is Chudar, the Frenchman, who's taking it up, and this is a surprise. He chooses to go straight past Koech. And actually, that was the right thing to do. You've got to hug those lights. At this stage in the season, You just need a good, hard effort. Less about sharpening that kick, less about sharpening that tactical element of racing. You need to go get the qualifying times for a start. Chudar recognizes that. Sam Chappell, the European indoor champion, on his shoulder, will grow in confidence. He'll hear the sound of the bell. This is his territory. You wouldn't want an 800-meter specialist on your shoulder in this last 200. That's exactly where Chudar finds himself. He's doing the right things for me. He's just drifting to the edge of lane 1. If Chappell's going to take you, make it hard for him. Make him go wide. And he's doing just that. So Sam Chappell, he's going to have a battle. He's just going to muster up enough to get past the Frenchman Chudar, or is he? We've seen an upset here in Miramas, ladies and gentlemen. Credit to the French star. Well, we saw Dumas win that women's 800, and we've witnessed another star here tonight from France, and the depth just gets better and better and better from this nation. And when will it stop? The long line of talent continues. Lacti Chudar, 3:36.64 for a lifetime best. And look, Sam Chappell will be happy with that for a season opener. He's only a second off his national record. But he'll be stunned he didn't win it today. It's a 2.5 second lifetime best for Chudar. Well, France have another star and another player come those World Indoors. I mean, Azzedine Habs, it was his time last year. Azzedine Habs was just setting the track alight indoors, wasn't he? He was a man who was challenging Jakob Ingebrigtsen at those World Indoor Championships. Not saying Chudar is going to do that, but he has a bright future ahead of him. And even he is just questioning that performance. Where did that come from? Well, it took confidence. And you know what? He deserved the result. The way he took that race on, he recognized the danger. He recognized the race was just starting to get away from him. He made all the big moves, and he deserved to hang on for the title here. And we'll hear from him trackside. Well, so French stars delivering here in Miramas so far. We have a couple more races to go. There'll be the 60 hurdles final and the men's 60 final. Cole Walsh, though, still has work to do in this men's pole vault competition. Him against him at this stage, and so far, he hasn't looked close to clearing 585, apologies. But he will walk away with a meet record nonetheless, whatever happens from here on out. Look at that scoreboard. Bravo. His next contestant. Left him a couple heights ago. Well, we'll turn back to this men's triple jump competition, which is a surprise so far. Matt Fay leads. Well, then the women's 60-meter hurdles B final is on the track, getting ready to go. As we welcome them once again to Miramas. So right on the inside, Daphne Georgiou of Cyprus. She goes in 1. Pretty solid heat from her. 8:11 her lifetime best over the 60 hurdles. Regular A2 performer indoors. Melissa Benfata. Another athlete to look out for. 8:33 her season best. 8:19 that lifetime best. Felt like she was a little slow starting in the heat. Something she'll need to work on just to stay in contention. Guignard. Look how close this is on lifetime best. It is going to be a very, very difficult one to call. Guignard perhaps the favourite. 8:17 is the fastest on paper. Bar Georgiou on the inside, who lifetime best dates back a few years. Rakatora Soa in 4. And Palaukwich goes in 5. So just the 5 women to line up in this B final. Women's A final to come next. Can we see another French victor in Laetitia Baptiste? We look forward to that, but for now, French athletes to focus on are in 2, 4, and 5. Swiss Guignard in 3. Georgiou from Cyprus goes in 1. Those two, ironically, do have the fastest lifetime best on paper. So the crowd wait with bated breath. The women's 60-meter hurdles B final here at Meeting Miramas. Guignard just flinching in her blocks there. Did she hear something in the crowd? I heard a few noises in the crowd. I think this will be just a green card. They'll double check it. It's just a little bit of nervous tension down there track side. So nothing for these women to worry about. There we are, green card confirmation of it. Georgiou, Benfata, Guignard, Rakatora Soa, and Palaukwich. Men's triple jump coming to the climax as well. So it's a long wait for these women in the 60-meter hurdles B final. There we are, the crowd finally silenced by the starting official. Guignard, a few nerves. She heard a few sounds from the crowd, making her pop up in her blocks before. And that is the key thing, before they were in that set position. So the women's 60 hurdles B final is underway. Look out for the Swiss athlete Guignard moving through well, but Benfata, the French woman, is she going to take it? That's 3 French victories. Back to back to back here, and Benfata will be crowned the winner of that B final. Keep an eye on the clock. That was very impressive. It was neck and neck after a couple flights, and then Benfata just the more relaxed of the two. Closed out the race much better. 8:29, the season's best for her. And a part of her would have sure been gutted not to have made that A final, not to have lined up against the greats. Letitia Baptiste, I'm sure she's looked up to over the last few years. Tell you what, these kids have been a fantastic audience all night long, haven't they? They really have brought the atmosphere. Third attempt in for Cole Walsh. Will it be his final? 5:85 to extend on that meet record. 3 identical attempts for him, really. It was never to be for 5:85, but he comes here as a meet record holder, scratches his name into the history books here in Miramas, and the American wins. And could you say he's back? He knows what's coming. There's US Championships in a few weeks' time. Let's hear from Cole Walsh, your winner from the men's pole vault. Oh, merci indeed, Cole Walsh, and I'm sure he'll be welcome back anytime in the future as a meet record holder. It's almost your right to come and defend that mark, isn't it? Here you are, confirmation of that men's pole vault. It feels like an absolute age ago that we saw Robin Amee bow out to rub salt into his wounds. His meet record was eclipsed by Cole Walsh on the top of the pile, that 5:75. The previous record of Robin Amee, unfortunately. No heighting here today. Sixth and final round then for Kingley in this men's triple jump. Sits in fourth. Hasn't surpassed 16 meters yet. Can he do it now? I don't think that's going to be good enough from Kingley. We'll wait and see. But I tell you what, as we step into this sixth round, the score at the moment, Amathei leads the way. 16:79 equals the world lead. Tricky, the world indoor champion, 16:70, and Dos Santos 16:52 in third. So we have an all-star cast here tonight, and a big, big upset. No one would have expected Fai to come here and win. I mean, he's PB'd, his lifetime best 16:69, season best is 16:24. He's from Senegal. Will it stay like that going into this final round? Just a few to jump in that men's triple. Well, here's the lineup then for this women's A final over the 60-meter hurdles. On the inside is going to be Vilma Maki. Well, we'll just catch up, talk about the climax of this men's triple jump competition. Well, here goes Dos Santos, sits in third. He knows what he has to do if he's going to win here tonight. 16:79, he's going to have to jump a world lead. And of course, he's going to have to eclipse his season's best as well. He's capable. He is more than capable. The Brazilian, Dos Santos, a huge character in our sport. Pulls out a big one. I don't think that's going to be enough, though. He knows he's well short. And is it a foul as well? It is a foul. So, bit of an anticlimax for the Brazilian. We won't get the explosive ending from him that we were hoping for. However, Hashim Mohamed Tricky is yet to go. He will be next on the runway. And I wonder if we'll catch this women's 60 prior to that. It certainly looks like it. We turn down to the center of the arena. Well, Vilma Maki then. Been on the European circuit a while, hasn't she? De Lazaro, well, what a heat he had right on the shoulder of Letitia Baptiste for me. Challenged her well. And she'll be excited that actually she gets to line up alongside her again on her inside, just to put that pressure on. Well, it was smooth, and you could definitely say that for Letitia Baptiste in the heat. However, she just needs to quicken things up because Alicia Johnson on her outside was very, very impressive. The American, 7th place at those Paralympic Games, to be a finalist in Olympics, and also, of course, even making that US Olympic team over the 100-meter hurdles is a statement in itself. Alicia Johnson then, 7:82, her lifetime best. Season's best coming into this, looked very good in the heat. And she was pushed all the way by this woman, Alessandrini. And I know the French will be looking and willing her on. And if she can just replicate what she produced, the lifetime best in the heat, she might just be able to ask a question of Johnson. Put a bit of pressure on her, these two French women either side of the American. Guillaume then, right on the outside. Will have to just stick to her task, but want a clean start. So Alessandrini, the French indoor champion last year. Baptiste, 7:76, her lifetime best. Won last week, 7:92, Paris indoor. Also a multiple French indoor champion and outdoor champion, Olympian. Semi-finalist last year at the European indoors. But Alicia Johnson, if you go off current form, just over an hour ago, looked the strongest of the three. Your women's 60-meter hurdles final. So I feel Baptiste has to start fast if she's going to contend with this one. She's kept with Johnson the whole way. Can Letitia Baptiste take it? No, it's going to be Johnson. 7:97 equals her run from the heats, and the American holds on. Baptiste lived with her for a couple flights and then couldn't. And I tell you what, I think Alessandrini on the outside of Johnson might have been the first French woman home. And yes, she is. 8:08. So officially 7:98, 8:08, and 8:06. And Johnson will take that, and she'll enjoy one of her first wins in 2026. And that will conclude your women's 60-meter hurdles as we pan back to this men's triple jump competition. Triki's on the runway. Dos Santos fouled on his 6th and final round jump. Triki's got the closest. He sits in second, 16:70, just 9 centimeters off what is the world lead, but also the man in the lead in FRA today. It's good on the board. He certainly looked it, lost it. Lost it in the mid-phase for Triki, and he'll clap out. 2nd place for your world indoor champion, but nonetheless, a promising start to his 2026 campaign, and I think he's just been beaten by the better man on the day. We can certainly say that, and he's raised his game. Credit to him. He has absolutely raised his game. He's jumped a huge lifetime best. Well, here we go then. Amad Faye, this is a mere victory lap for him. He can enjoy this jump because he's equaled the world lead here tonight, 16:79, and he's jumped a lifetime best. Before this, he's a West African regional medalist. Now, he finds himself on top of the world in the early part of 2026. And he finds himself beating some very, very accomplished stars, global medalists in this event. Can he follow them all the way to the World Indoor Championships? So a jump to celebrate for Faye. Can he improve? And it's close. We'll see what it is on the board. They're going to measure it up. And will it be any closer or any better even than his 4th round jump? Wait, Amad Faye. He's been consistent. Took him a while to build into this competition. Since then, he has been dominant. 16:58 then, so a very, very good final jump for him, but 16:79 for a world lead and a victory here tonight. Well, all we have left, then, ladies and gentlemen, are just 2 more races of the track. We have the men's 60-meter B final and the men's 60-meter A final. That will conclude the action here in Miramas tonight. So we have about 10 more minutes of your attention. What an evening. And there are the results. Ahmad Faye of Senegal, 16.79. Nasir Mohamed Touki, your world indoor champion, by the way, I may add. And the man who got third before later getting disqualified, Dos Santos, in third on this occasion today as well. Well, as you expect, interesting enough, just getting one more jump in. A little perplexed why. Competition set to have ended with Faye, so maybe just a bonus jump for him out there. So then here are the start lists of that B final, men's 60 meters on the track. Shushe Tada looked very impressive for me. Omenyala, can you believe it? Only good enough to make the B final. Him and Glaive looked a little sluggish, a little slow out the gates in their heat. They're in the same heat. It was an extremely difficult heat. I should say that as well. However, Omenyala is capable of much, much more. The man, lifetime best of 6:51. It was disappointing last year, Omenyala. He missed the 100-meter final at the 2025 World Championships. I mean, that in itself is not a disaster. But it wasn't quite at his best throughout the year as a whole. So right on the inside there. Chavez. Next to him. Kai Nazaire will go in 2. Well, top easy then. The Mauritian star. There's another one there, I do say, in the hurdles. Right, top easy over the flat 60 here then. Well, Shushe Tada, mentioned him and Akide doing numerous races already this year. In excess of 5, 6, 7 races. Shushe Tada, though, starts well. Very good technically. Explosive. Well, Omenyala, this is his to lose, really, for me. There he is, the star. So often we've seen him obliterate, light up 60-meter races, but only a season's best of 6:72. Good enough for the B final here tonight, the Kenyan. A wonderful character. So, South African, we know the dominance they have in the sprints. I tell you what, Franco Leroux winning that hurdles earlier on would have inspired his compatriot Masoso on the outside of him. William Agesi, 6:63, his lifetime best. Ran that actually just last week. And right on the outside then, Yuta Sekiguchi, also of Japan, Waseda University colors that he's wearing. A little bit like the collegiate system in America, the NCAAs, the Japanese university system is very, very competitive. A lot of money goes into it, and that is where you'll often find the best coaches as well. So your men's 60 meters B final. Chavez, Dayani, Topizi, Tada, Omenyala, Masoso, William, Ogesi, and Sekiguchi. Well, away we go then. Look how low Shushi is in the center. Omanyala's been absolutely left. Who's going to take it? Top easy on the line. And Tada just took ages to get up there. But Top easy is going to take that. No questions about it. And I'm stunned with Omanyala, to be honest with you. But he's clearly come here not quite in form. Needs to sharpen up. He knows what he's got to do. And it was a long season for him. You think about the indoor campaign and 675, but nice lifetime best there for the win for Top easy in this men's 60B final. And there is really the star of the show. He wasn't shining very bright tonight. Ferdinand Omanyala. Take a look at this replay. I mean, this won't show it too well, but Tada just head down for absolutely ages. I'm sure sprint coaches will tell me his form is absolutely fine and shouldn't be doubted, shouldn't be questioned. After all, he is at this level. But it is rather unorthodox to see someone with their head down for so long as we did Tada there. But there is the man on top of the pile. 670 PB to go with it. Top easy. Tada in second, Omanyala third. Mitsoso, Agisi, Sekiguchi, the other Japanese athlete there, tying for 6th place in that men's 60-meter B final. Well, he's a huge character, isn't he? He has time for everyone and so humble, so down to earth, always a smile on his face. He's clearly just enjoying the life that he lives, and I think that is something we will always enjoy about Ferdinand Omanyala. Confirmation of those triple jump results. Yes, you are reading it right. Ahmed Faye wins from Senegal. World leads 16.79. And look who he's beating here today. Tricky and Dos Santos. How about that? And he jumped a 15-centimeter lifetime best to do it. Faye crowned Miramas champion here. Noir, the first Frenchman down there in 7th place as well. So then one more race of the night and it'll be over and done with in a matter of seconds, literally. 6.5 probably. The men's 60-meter final. We've seen some staggering results here tonight. And are we about to witness another? On the inside, we'll have Ipei Takeda of Japan. This will be his 8th race of 2026. He's gone back-to-back weekends, 2 races apiece for the whole month through January. So Ipei Takeda, 666, his lifetime best, 668. Sorry, his season's best, edging closer and closer. This is a world-class field. Rommel Glade goes in 2. Again, much like Ferdinand Omanyala, snuck into this final glaive, unlike Omanyala, but disappointing in the heat, especially after what I witnessed last weekend when he beat the likes of Shane Thompson and Jeremiah Azu. Al-Balushi, man from Oman, 650, his lifetime best, and looks smooth, very, very smooth, easing down in his heat. Perhaps he is the biggest threat to Lawrence Johnson of the US, who goes in 4. Ade McPherson in 5. Emmanuel Alabuadidi Esime goes in 6. Fernandez of Cuba in 7. Antoine Dorfal goes in 8. There is your lineup I've just gone through. Esime, all of these men right on. Look at their lifetime best, right on 650. It does tend to be a little bit of a barrier. The only man to have surpassed that barrier, Leonel Fernandez of Cuba, who goes in 7. He's a little way off it this year. Well, there is the Japanese star, Takeda. Means business here today. He's come to Europe and he's attacked every single meet he's been in. Well, he's the European bronze medalist over the 100 meters back in 2024. He'll be looking to go even better in 2026 in Birmingham on home soil. But it starts here indoors, Romel Glave. And he did get off to a flyer last weekend. Capable of winning here if he gets it right. Al-Balushi goes in 3. 6:50, his lifetime best. The man from Oman, he won last weekend in Paris in 6:52. He's going to be tough to beat. He eased down in the heats, looking very, very controlled. But this man impressed. He stunned Omanyala. He stunned Glave in his own heat. Lawrence Johnson, 6:63. Wasn't particularly lightning fast. However, it was enough to get the job done. O'Day McPherson in the Jamaican. Always one you have to respect. He was second in Poland just last week as well. Indoor specialist for them. Well, Asemi is the national record holder of Cameroon over the 60, the 100, the 200. A lifetime best outdoors of 9:96. He's an African Games medalist. And we welcomed him here to Miramas time and time again. Fernandez has the fastest lifetime best on paper. He's not there yet. Bit of work to do. Can he be a threat from the outside? Stun a few to his left. And right on the outside, then the Frenchman, Antoine Thorofal. He's done well to make it into this final. And he'll know the opportunity's there. So 1, take a few scalps. 2, go run a lifetime best. 6:60 at that. So, ladies and gentlemen, the final race of the evening here in Miramas, your men's 60-meter final. Takeda, Glave, Al-Balushi, Johnson, McPherson, Sime Fernandez, and Thorofal on the outside. The threat from Johnson in 4 perhaps looked the most impressive through the heats alongside Al-Balushi. So this one could come down to who starts the best. I tell you what, Glave, a good start. Look at the Japanese, Takeda, and coming through, Al-Balushi. Oh, it's a dead heat. It's a dead heat, and what did we expect? Al-Balushi, Johnson, McPherson, all of them on the line, and they're going to have to wait, just like you and me at home. Who got this one? Asime came through late as well. Well, Glave got such a good start. Struggling for top speed tonight with Romel Glave, but he got such a good start. Here we are then, Johnson takes it. Al-Balushi just getting pipped, 6:58. Season's best for the American Johnson. He looked great in the heat. Both of them won their heat, respectively. And so perhaps they both deserve to be in the top 2 here in that final. Now, who got third? 100th of a second between them for that top spot. Still waiting on third. So Lawrence Johnson and Alicia Johnson, the pair of them, will take a win back to the United States. 1 in the 60, 1 in the 60-meter hurdles. We'll have a good look at the replay. So it was Takeda who got out so well. McPherson just tying up a little bit. Johnson just in that last 10 yards, commanding himself in pole position. Well, let's take a look at these results and give them a good study. Lawrence Johnson with the victory. Al-Balushi second. Dead heat pretty much for third. O'Day McPherson hanging on in there. Then Asimi, who was closing well, winds up in 4th. And the one Frenchman in that field, Thorofal, 6:66, equals season's best. Him and Takeda, good to see the pair. So I'm sure Johnson will continue to sign autographs all night long. And what a meeting we've had here in Miramas. We thank you all for tuning in. I've been your commentator, Matt Seddon, here on the European Athletics channel. And until next time, all the best.